Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ramble Express podcast. This is going to be a really long video today, so you should have brought a drink and a snack along with you because we're discussing all of the major Sonic titles and it's going to be a long ride.
Make sure you have a blanket and a pillow too in case you fall asleep.
Yeah, because we're going to be here a while.
At least a very soft chair.
But before that, do you guys have anything to discuss before we want to start this?
Right, who likes Twiglets but doesn't like Marmite?
Nobody.
No one apparently. Okay. Well, that's good because that means no one's a hypocrite. Right. So we got that sorted. And also I finally got the internet connected after 3 fucking weeks. Anyway, on to the actual topics.
Okay, so Sonic 1.
I can't get past halfway through Marble Zone.
The thing, Sonic 1 is kind of bland. It's the first game, and that's about it.
But he doesn't go fast. Sonic's got to go fast.
Well, he does go fast, but it's not as speedy, I guess, as the future games, because, well, for one thing, you don't have the spin dash.
No, I swear he goes fast in level 1 and 3.
Yeah, he goes pretty fast in 1 and 3, but that's mainly because of the whole, like, gaining momentum thing. Like, you roll off, like, a slope, and you gain speed, like, fast, really fast.
Super fast, Sonic speed.
I gotta go fast.
Yeah.
Guys, prepare to get bored of me saying Sonic speed.
We might as well use Sonic 1 to say how we got into Sonic. So, for me, how I got into Sonic is really different from most other fans. Basically, my family had the Sega Mega Drive, and the only game we all had was Mean Bean Machine. And then, well, my brother took, I think it was like something at the back of the system. He took it out and it broke, so we couldn't use it anymore. And then my family pretty much lost their crap when they saw that Mega Collection had the game inside of it. So I believe my sister was it that bought the game, and then I pretty much looked at the other games, played Sonic 1, absolutely failed at Green Hill Act 2, and then I played the other games and the rest is history.
I'm technically not a fan.
I played Sonic 1 after I was introduced to the series through one of the, those plug-and-play TV games. I had a Sega one of those that had a bunch of old Genesis games, and Sonic 1 was one of them.
Actually,
that was after I had already been introduced to the series.
Actually, I think I should say this. I don't think Sonic 1 was the first Sonic game I played. It was either Heroes or 3D Blast or Sonic 1. I don't know exactly what the first one I played was, but it was either one of those three, because I remember back a long time ago, 3D Blast was one of the first Sonic games I played, so back then I thought it was like, oh, one of the best things ever. Now when I go back, yeah, when I go back to it, I can definitely see the problems it has. But I enjoy it a little bit just because of the whole nostalgia factor, but yeah, I can see why it gets the mediocre status.
Yeah, but we're not at that game yet.
Yeah, but
By the way, we're going
also the Game Gear version of Sonic 1 was also kind of bland.
I like Bridge Zone's track though.
Everybody loves Bridge Zone's music because it's awesome.
It created the Tails theme from SA1.
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Though I feel Bridge Zone is I feel Bridge Zone is still better than that Tails' theme.
Well, even still, I think Believe in Myself is the perfect song for Tails.
I would agree.
There were 2 spin-offs between Sonic 1 and Sonic 2.
Yeah.
Which we're not going into.
Well, you can if you
And
want,
there was, I'll just mention them because I don't think any of us have played them. There was Sonic Eraser, which was a Japanese-only puzzle game.
but...
And then Waku Waku Sonic Patrol Car.
What?
What?
I've never heard...
It's a children's arcade machine that shows Sonic as a hero cop that chases down Eggman, who is now a con thief.
I don't even...
Only in Japan. Tomboy.
That reminds me of that one episode in Kirby Right Back At You where Kirby thinks everyone's food.
And then there was Sonic 2, which way better than Sonic 1 for a multitude of reasons. One being the introduction of the spin dash and Super Sonic.
Yeah. Yeah, Sonic 2 was a huge improvement. Just in general, like, the level design was a lot more varied and interesting.
Yeah. I do wonder why they decided to change from 6 Chaos Emeralds to 7, though.
I think...
7.
I think the main reason is just that, I believe it's either Yuji Naka or Takashi Iizuka who's like a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, so it's just like, yeah, I'm putting this in.
Okay, so 7 Dragon Ball sort of thing.
Pretty much.
Maybe.
Pretty much. Which I don't boycott or what Sega for that because I think the inclusion of like super forms is cool. So
Even as a concept, I highly doubt Dragon Ball Z was the first thing to ever use super forms for something.
well, yeah, but that's what the forms for Sonic was like influenced off.
Yeah. Plus, that's an inspiration or a reference, not really a rip-off.
Yeah, because like that's the same thing with the Death Egg. It's supposed to be a homage to the Death Star.
I think in the Death Egg's case, it's a parody, kind of.
Oh yeah.
And it's called the Death Egg.
What do we think of Tails though?
Eh. He didn't have a character in Sonic 2. He was just kind of there.
I swear he didn't have a.
He was intended to be. He was intended to be a woman.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting, actually, considering the ending theme and all that.
Which they completely butchered in Sonic 06.
I love the Sonic 2 rendition. That's perfect.
We are not.
The Sonic 2 version's really good. And
Yeah.
the Sonic 06 version happened.
Yeah. But Joey.
I don't know a lot about all of this stuff you are talking about.
What are your thoughts on Tails, just as a character?
I like Tails as a character, but from what I know, he didn't have a character till Sonic 3 to Sonic Heroes.
He didn't really have a character until Sonic Adventure, because nobody spoke in it.
Yeah, Sonic Adventure, he had like backstory and, well, he could actually talk for one thing. So, like, they try gradually to build a story in the series, but you can only do so much when the characters don't speak.
Yeah.
So Sonic 3 has the deepest story for what they can do. So most of these like classic games, you have to look in the manual to know what's actually going on.
Yeah, which I kind of like that better, because when I play a game, I just want to play the game, and unless it's an RPG, I really don't care about the story. I
kind of miss like colorful manuals now, because nowadays it's usually just like one page of like, oh, here are the controls, which is fine, but I just like the colorful manuals you had back in the day.
I can tell you, game.
I will continue my status then as a living advertisement and tell you to then check out IndieBox, because all of their games come with a very colorful and entertaining manual.
Oh, that's cool.
in the style of older games. They're even like kind of laid out in the way that old NES manuals were, in that they're longer than they are tall.
Also, back on the topic of Sonic 2, the introduction of the spin dash just made the game so much more enjoyable to play.
Yeah, when they decided to do Sonic Genesis, they thought, oh, we can put the spin dash in there and it'll still be fine. The spin dash worked in Sonic 2 because the levels were designed around you having it.
Yeah.
Still, Sonic 1's levels were not designed around it, and so having it in there kind of ruins it.
I'm never gonna touch Sonic Genesis because I already have the Mega Collection version, plus the one inside Generations for whatever reason, and I don't really need to buy a downpoured version.
I own so many different versions of Sonic 1, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
There's also Sonic 2 on the Game Gear, which was good, but really hard.
Yeah. I played that on Gems Collection, and oh, thank goodness that collection has a save state system. Otherwise, I never would have beaten the game.
Although interesting to note, the Game Gear version actually came out before the Genesis version.
And it has Green Hills Zone, not Green Hill Zone. It's totally different.
Well, there's 2 hills this time instead of just the one.
Wait,
Yes, 1 and Zone 2.
wait, did Sonic 2 Game Gear come out after or before CD?
Before.
So it pretty much created the Toot Toot Sonic Warrior theme.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Although Sonic CD may have been in, considering Sonic CD and Sonic 2 were in development at the same time, it still may have been lifted from CD.
Probably. Because I think Japan got CD first and we got 2 first, and then the next year it was the other way around.
Yeah.
So there's a huge point of like, I don't want to say contention, but mystery, I guess, because people are still like debating whether 2 or CD takes place after 1.
They both take place after 1. I'll just say that right there.
Well, yeah, but still,
Technically, though, you could say that CD takes place before and after Sonic 1 because of time travel.
That's very true. I think it probably takes place before 2, just because Tails isn't there and he's usually with Sonic. So
Yeah.
well, even still, Sonic 4 pretty much kills that whole thing. So I don't know.
At least with Sonic 4, we get evidence of Tails being around with the rocket. In Sonic CD, there's nothing, and I don't count that random Toyota ad.
Well, in the remake, after you beat the game, there's a text that says "See you next game" with Tails there. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's that random Toyota ad.
Yeah. Anything else we want to say about Sonic 2?
I can't get
It's a
past
game.
Zone.
The music in Sky Chase is one of my favorite themes in the game, and Metropolis Zone is my favorite Sonic level overall, if only for the music.
The Death Egg Robot is really challenging, but once you know how to manipulate him, I guess he's a lot easier.
Yeah.
But there isn't really anything else to say, really. So, Sonic 3 or Sonic? Should we just do Sonic 3 and Knuckles or CD?
Actually, in between, well, we talked about most of CD, but in between Sonic 2 and Sonic CD, Sega Sonic Jug came out in the arcade.
Yeah, apparently Ray and Mighty were supposed to be like different ideas for the main character.
Ray, I think just to an extent, I think Flying Squirrel was one of the ideas they had for Sonic, but they never got past. I don't think they had any like concept art of that. I think it was just an idea. Mighty was actually a character they had concept art for before they settled on Sonic.
It's interesting something interesting about this game is that it's still arcade exclusive, and well, Sega originally intended the game to be on Gems Collection, but from what I know, they did.
I think they had problems with getting it to emulate correctly.
Yeah, pretty much. It's interesting because you can see. I'm not sure, but I think you can see little images from the game in the museum, as well as Knuckles Chaotix, which also was going to be in the game.
Which probably they most likely because they just had problems with putting the 32X afterwards.
Yeah, I actually would like to play Chaotix just to see what it's like.
Chaotix is good.
I can't see myself being able to play it other than using an emulator, so I don't know.
We could talk
Yeah,
a bit more about it.
2X.
Wait, what?
Yep, 32X exclusive.
Tuh.
So they also made a version for 32X CD.
Nah. Just 32X.
No? Okay.
32X CD games were a horrible idea, by the way.
Yeah, she had to have the 2 worst add-ons in existence.
Yeah. There was to give some kind of credit to the CD and 32X. There were at least decent games for each one. 32X had Knuckles Chaotix, and the Sega CD had Sonic CD and Night Trap.
The main thing that killed Sega was just like releasing like 30 different add-ons, which is just ridiculous.
30 add-ons.
They refused to let the Genesis go, and then they didn't really focus enough on the Saturn. Yeah. So that when the Dreamcast came about and they decided to focus on that, they were already screwed anyway.
Honestly, after the Genesis's life cycle, they kind of just lost focus and they pretty much went into a deep hole.
Yeah, had they stopped with the Genesis after like 1993, and gone into the Saturn, they probably would. I think they'd probably still be making consoles. I think their downfall was keeping the Genesis alive for so long.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is sad. I would love to see Sega make a console comeback, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Although it could.
Yeah.
It could, but
it won't.
But they'd have to put out something, not even just Sonic, just anything that made a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't think they're in the position at the moment because, the reason they stopped in the first place was because they couldn't afford like having a console anymore.
Yeah, they also released the Dreamcast at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
People already knew the GameCube was going to come out in a couple of years, and Microsoft was also Microsoft had also announced the Xbox. Sony was going to release the PS2 in just a few months, and so people decided that it was better to wait for those than to get a Dreamcast.
The Dreamcast was ahead of its time for the N64, PS1 and all that era, but it was going to end really soon, so there's no point.
Yeah.
I mean, people still got the Dreamcast. But...
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but the majority of people decided it was better to wait for the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox than to grab a Dreamcast.
Which is half of the reason why Sega lost the console war, I guess.
I'm willing to bet that most of the people that own a Dreamcast now probably bought it after Sega became third party.
Well, there are some people who want the original, like, Sonic Adventures games.
Well, yeah, that's why I did it. So,
I might buy a Dreamcast at some point. It really depends how much I can find it for.
You should be able to get it for pretty cheap. I got mine for like $30.
Oh, that's not bad. I think
Ace Tech, they do all that stuff.
I think we should talk a little bit more about CD because, honestly, I don't think this game is bad by any means, but I feel it's really, really overrated.
I put it on number 5 for my top 10 Sonic games. I really am considering redoing that list because a lot of games are in places that I'm not happy with anymore, like Sonic 06 at number 4.
Mm.
Like, I like Sonic 06, but Now that I think about it, nowhere near that high.
Well,
But CD is good, but it didn't get great until the port a couple of years ago.
yeah, CD had some really good ideas, and the music is probably one of the best parts of the game for me.
Japanese soundtrack is better.
I don't know. I just never found CDs to be that special, just because the I like the like time travel aspect, and it's a nice like concept and all, but the execution could have been a lot better, I feel.
Yeah. I think it's still good. I couldn't tell you why. It's just really fun.
I still enjoy the game, but I don't think it's as like godly as most other people do.
Yeah. Yeah, I certainly don't see why Screw Attack said it was the best Sonic game.
I don't. I saw their worst and best Sonic games. I can't see Sonic R being the worst. That's just no.
Sonic R really is not that bad.
It's not amazing. Like you can easily 100% the game in like 30 minutes. I'm not even joking. But it's not a bad game.
Yeah, there's nothing really design-wise. I think people were just angry that it wasn't a platformer.
Yeah. It's a nice like I guess prototype for a 3D Sonic game, and yeah, for the short time you have playing it, it's a decent time. It's like, oh, you want to pass a little bit of time, I would just play Sonic R. It's not like the best racing game ever, but it's decent enough.
Yeah, it certainly has issues like having
Yeah.
5 tracks.
Yeah, the main issue is just the length, really. It's just, again, it's way too short.
It's one of those games that tries to keep itself alive with playing when you're just playing with friends, and that only really works when there's still a lot to do that way. You see a lot of the really popular racing games like Mario Kart have a lot of tracks and characters to choose from. Sonic R has a pretty decent character selection, I think, but the track selection is abysmal.
Yeah. And just, the idea for Sonic R with the whole, like, you get the 5 coins, and then you get a new character. I feel that would have made the game a lot more interesting if there were, like, more tracks and stuff, because you'd have more, like, gameplay value, and it will last longer.
Yeah.
So,
Well, at least we talked about Sonic R.
it's a bit cheap with the AI when you use one of the secret characters and you have Super Sonic, because you'll always go up against Super Sonic, and that's like just evil.
That should be the hard mode.
Yeah.
I think it's probably just the game's way of auto-balancing, because the secret characters are supposed to be better stat-wise than the base characters, so the game doesn't want to make it too easy, so they put in Super Sonic.
I guess, but still. I don't know. So should we just go on to Sonic 3 and Knuckles?
There are still games between CD and Sonic 3. There's Sonic Chaos on the Game Gear, which it's really good. It's probably the best of the Game Gear games.
Oh, isn't
Or
that
the main series Game Gear games? Actually,
is that the one with Turquoise Hill?
I think so.
If it is, then yeah, I've played it. It's pretty decent. I don't know if I finished it though.
It's good.
What comes after that?
Sonic Spinball.
I'll play that.
I like Spinball, if only for the fact that I like pinball.
I don't know.
The Genesis version. The Genesis version. The Genesis version, anyway. The Game Gear version is really slow and.
I didn't even get the Game Gear version. Like, it didn't make the level design made no sense.
It's in Mega Drive collection.
The only thing noteworthy, I guess, is that it gives you a lot of lives. So usually you probably don't have to worry about getting a game over. So
Except
Yeah.
in Showdown.
yeah, I beat the game
Game
once.
overs are a very real possibility in Showdown.
I beat the game once, which is probably enough.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And Spinball's good if you like pinball, which I
Yeah.
do, so.
I enjoy Sonic Spinball. It's a hard game, but it's fun. There's not much else I can say about it, to be honest.
Pinball.
Oh, the music
And
is
the
actually.
yeah, the music is really good. I'm happy they brought back Toxic Cave in
Oh.
Sonic Generations.
That actually really surprised me. I didn't actually expect that.
Yeah.
Oh, I can just say anything random and you guys just know exactly what to say. It's like, pinball. Oh yeah, music.
Yeah. But anyways, what's next?
The last game before Sonic 3, an arcade exclusive game, Sonic Cosmo Fighter.
I don't
Or
even know.
Sega Sonic Cosmo Fighter, I'm sorry.
I don't even know what this is, so I have nothing to say.
You were told about
It's-
it before the podcast.
It's another children's arcade machine that features Sonic and Tails as galactic officers hunting down the space scoundrel Eggman.
What?
That's it.
I would so play that game.
Wow.
That's all it says.
That's hilarious. I've never played this game before, so
You
I.
also probably need to be high to play it.
Well, this could be the best Sonic game ever. What do we know?
Yeah. It's arcade exclusive, and you could probably easily play it on a MAME emulator.
I mean, look at the arcade exclusive Brawler, the Simpsons one that I don't know. Apparently, I've heard that is a very good game, but never got a console port.
Okay, I just turned my Skype on Do Not Disturb because Skype was going crazy just then.
Let me get scene spray.
Yeah, from what I can see.
I put mine on, dude.
And then-
The second I heard one blip.
Finally, in 1994, we were given Sonic 3.
Should we go do Sonic 3 and Knuckles together just to make it quicker and just because that's how everyone plays it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so... how do we start
Sonic-
this?
I'll just start it off with a statement. One of the few things that still holds from my top 10 Sonic games. Sonic 3 is my favorite Sonic game.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, most hardcore Sonic fans will pretty much say the same thing, which, yeah, it's the same for me. It's definitely my favourite 2D Sonic game, and I don't know if I'd call it my favourite, but it's definitely up there.
I just love everything about it. I like the level design, makes everything flow smoothly. The music is amazing. The visuals are pretty good aside from Sonic's sprite, which is really ugly. I don't know why they decided to change it. It was really good in Sonic 2.
One guy actually brought up a good point about that. It's like, in 1, 2, and CD, you see that Sonic has attitude and all that. With Sonic 3's sprite, it's kind of like, yay! That's kind of what you get from it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like the music in Sonic 3.
Yeah, again, the music is like amazing especially for this like 994.
Not many games I can
Yeah.
pinpoint the music is really good, but Sonic 3 is one of the games where I can do that.
Yeah.
I still am a little skeptical on the Michael Jackson help with the soundtrack thing. It's certainly possible because songs like Ice Cap Zone sound like Michael Jackson songs or something that he'd make.
Maybe they changed it slightly for the final release, but that's just a guess.
Yeah, I think there are multiple stories. There are multiple stories about why he's not credited, from the child molestation allegations to
Yeah.
Michael Jackson not liking the Genesis sound chip and not wanting to be credited towards it.
Yeah.
Did he say that?
Well, it's
There are rumors. There's nothing has been really confirmed, but those are some common things that I've seen floating around.
yeah. Don't know if
Both are
these.
certainly plausible.
I don't know if he's actually said that, but yes, it's just been like there's been multiple rumors going around about the whole Sonic 3 soundtrack thing.
Respectfully.
Yeah. So while I feel it's certainly possible that Michael Jackson did work on the soundtrack due to the sound of some of them, I'm not going to believe it until it's officially confirmed by Sega.
Yeah. Which I'm not. Wait, what?
It's probably never going to be.
That's pretty much what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. So yeah.
Unless Sega finally decides. People have been asking about this for over 20 years, and then they finally come out with it.
Yeah. Pretty much just.
50th birthday, they're going to release another game like Sonic Generations. And they're going to credit all of the music developers through all of history, so...
That would take a while.
Yeah, this would be a long credit.
Credit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they would just straight out go one day, okay guys, fine, Michael Jackson did Sonic 3. Happy now?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
I would then be happy.
Yeah, I'd be happy because I would know, but I wouldn't excuse their behaviour because it's been going around for years now. But yeah,
Michael Jackson's deepest secret shall never be revealed.
I pretty much agree with everything you said, Chase. The level design is perfect for a Sonic game. The balance in speed and platforming is perfect. The graphics are superb, especially for the Genesis. The music is outstanding. There's really nothing. There really isn't anything noteworthy that's really bad I can say about the game.
Yeah. I also will continuously give Sonic 3 credit for having one of the 3 good ice levels in a game.
Yeah. Also, everyone seems to complain about Sandopolis. It's definitely my least favorite zone of the game, but I still think it's fun to play.
The problem with Sandopolis is that it just takes forever.
Yeah. And
Scorps are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that too. I don't really see anyone saying that it's a downright bad level. It's just it could have been shorter.
Yeah.
I do like some of the.
Sonic 3,
Wait.
Oh my god.
Okay. I do like some of the little gimmicks, I guess, in Sandopolis because you don't see them anywhere else in the game. So it's a nice change of pace.
After Sonic 3, we had Sonic Drift.
Nothing to say about this at all.
It's pretty boring. The tracks are not interesting in the slightest. The controls are really loose.
Yeah. It's
Music is alright.
Basically,
Looks pretty
they
good.
wanted to make Mario Kart with Sonic, but didn't work until 20 years later.
well, it's not
I
even.
actually think Sonic Drift might be like a year or so before Mario Kart, or even a few months. Let me check.
Sonic Drift is pretty much the same as any other 8-bit racer. But besides the control, I've found other 8-bit racers that have better control, but other than that, it's pretty much the same. Which I've never been a fan of those racers, so by default, I don't care for this game.
Never mind. Super Mario Kart came out in 1992.
Oh, okay. So
It predates Sonic Drift by 2 years.
damn.
And after that, there was, I don't know why this is counted on the wiki, but it is, Wacky Worlds Creativity Studio, which is a Mario Paint-esque game that has Sega characters.
All right.
One of them being Sonic.
Moving on. I have nothing to say about that.
Sonic Triple Trouble on the Game Gear.
Oh, that was actually really cool. I like that game a lot.
Yeah. The introduction of Fang the Sniper, who has still never appeared in a game again.
Yeah, I do like that they brought that up in Generations because it's just these characters have been missing since whenever.
1994.
Yeah. That's
Thankfully,
just,
the comic takes pretty much every character that Sega has forgotten, which is half of them, and then uses them towards to some degree.
that kind of makes me sad because they kind of only use the main like 4 now.
Can you send a link for that list?
What? Wait, what?
Chase, can you send a link for the list?
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I kind of want some of these other characters back because I feel it would make the... I don't really care for the story in the Sonic game, but I feel it will make the character interactions more interesting because we've kind of had the standard main 4 for a bit too long now.
Yeah, but I think Sega's probably really hesitant to do that because every time they make a change in some way, the fan base is like, "Oh, we didn't ask for this," even if they did.
But maybe
so
they...
I feel like if they even if they just slowly added like 1 or 2 characters back into every game, eventually it would get back to the point where they'd be like, "There are too many characters."
True. Maybe they should limit themselves to a certain number of characters for each game.
I honestly don't mind. I think we should maybe bring in a couple for guest appearances every now and then, but the roster should stay small. If I want a multitude of characters, I will read the comics.
Yeah, that's true. But
After Triple Trouble, there was Tales in the Music Maker for the Pico.
Oh, I saw a stream for this.
It's Tales in the Music Maker. The end.
Were they wait, what was that game called where you have that little bar thing and you bounce the ball up those blocks?
Arkanoid.
Yeah, they pretty much did that.
Actually, Breakout.
Breakout. That's it. They pretty much did that, but made it a lot more very uninteresting in Tales in the Music Maker.
After that, there was Sonic the Hedgehog's Game World. It's a bunch of mini games.
Ah, okay. So.
And then there was Sonic and Knuckles.
Well, it's pretty much Sonic 3 Part 2, so...
We talked about it. Sonic Drift 2, which improved from Sonic Drift 1, I think. I would say that Sonic Drift 2 is actually good.
Yeah, so
then there was Knuckles Chaotix.
I want to play it, but I can't.
It's pretty good. It takes a bit to get used to the whole rubber band mechanic, but it's fun.
Yeah, I saw Tails' channel's Let's Play of the game until he randomly stopped it. It looks fun once you can learn how the whole rubber band thing or whatever works.
Yeah. More Game Gear games. Tails Sky Patrol.
Which is honestly not as bad as people say. I actually like that game.
I haven't really heard anybody say that it's bad, just that there's not really anything notable about it.
I guess.
It's good, it's fun if you want to waste like 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not a long game.
Tails Adventure, which is good because it's essentially a Metroid game, and I like Metroid.
I suck at the game, but I like the game, but I just suck at it.
Yeah, then should probably go back and play it again because it's been 3 years or so since I've last played it.
It's been. Wait, what were you gonna say, Jerry?
I've just looked through the list. I'm just glad they didn't put in Sega Rally because in one of the races in that arcade unit, there's a Mount Rushmore-like thing where it's Sonic. So I'm just glad they did 1980 something Rally.
Considering that it's just a small cameo, I doubt they would have.
Yeah,
even when they mentioned even when this decided to mention the Sega, the Wacky Worlds Creativity Studio, at least that featured Sonic, and it wasn't just like a random cameo.
Yeah, I should probably give Tails Adventure another shot because it's been so many years since I last played the game. So maybe I've gotten better. I don't know. We'll see.
It's good. Also, today I think it's Sonic Heroes 11th anniversary.
What, from today?
I think so. Let me check the release date.
Yeah,
No, Sonic. It's actually past its 11th anniversary. Sonic Heroes turned 11 on December 30th.
Dang. Oh, I feel so... That makes me feel old.
December 30th.
I actually do remember when Sonic Heroes came out.
Uh,
No,
bought it like a launch
that's a very bad release date.
I love Sonic Heroes. I don't care what people say.
It's got problems, but I like it. I don't like it as much as I did when I was younger, but
Yeah, same here, but it was kind of like 3D Blast. It's one of those like childhood gems for me.
I'm just gonna say that is a very bad release date. If they're thinking about, oh, kids with Christmas money, no, they've already spent it.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Boxing Day
If you want
exists.
something out for the if you want something out for the holidays, you either release it late November or really early December.
Yeah.
After that, there's Sonic Labyrinth, which is not as bad as people say it is.
Why? Because Sonic's not going at Sonic speed?
That is people actually do have a bit better complaints than that. Like the level design is confusing.
Yeah.
Mainly that the level design is confusing,
It's supposed to be
boring. But
confusing.
personally, I think it's fun.
A labyrinth is supposed to be confusing.
Yeah, but in a video game, Labyrinth can be hard to navigate, but it at least has to like make sense in your head, and that it's easy to deduce where to go. The common complaint with Labyrinth is that you cannot figure out where you have or haven't been yet.
Pretty much.
Personally, I don't think it's that big of an issue, but
Labyrinth is kind of in between for me. I don't. It's not as bad as people say, but it's not. It's kind of just in the middle for me.
I like it. Then there was Sonic the Fighters, which, despite being the really shallow fighter, I still think is pretty fun.
I think I play.
If you just want to waste like 10 minutes getting through its arcade mode, although it's really easy considering you can win every fight just by like spamming one or two buttons.
It's a lot of fun playing with a friend though, because me and one of my friends one time we played Sonic the Fighters for a while and we had a blast.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Yeah, it's not.
I like that it actually got an HD re-release.
I would. Yeah, I need to pick that up because it has online. So.
HD. I say HD, but it really.
Trust me, it's not HD. If a game's been re-released as HD or remastered, it's not.
Unless it's like the first Kingdom Hearts wherein they actually rebuilt it from scratch.
Well, yeah.
Then it's HD. But the thing that with a lot of the HD re-releases, the game cannot, unless it is completely retextured, the game cannot be HD because it was not originally HD.
Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, I need to get back to that.
Moving on back to topic.
Yeah.
Sonic 3D Blast. This is one of the it's one of the worst Sonic games ever. It is one of 4 Sonic games that I actually hate.
And somehow Sonic 3D Blast got released before Sonic Blast.
Sonic, what now?
Yeah.
I don't even.
Yeah, I can definitely see why 3D Blast is a bad game. It doesn't have the same like bleh factor, I guess, as most other people see it as. So yeah, it's a bad game, and I can tell you why it's a bad game. I just don't find it as like. Well, I don't know how to explain it. I just don't think it's as like. Bloods. You know what I mean.
Yeah. I will say that it's got some pretty good music, but that's about it.
Yeah, the music's alright.
There was Sonic Blast on the Game Gear.
Meh.
Really bland. Like, really bland.
So I'm guessing it's... So is it better or worse than Blast on the 3D?
Better.
So it's better.
Yeah, but not by much.
Only because only because I didn't want to turn the game off for every second that I played it.
Well, the water zone can just screw off and die.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can say that for most Sonic games.
The level names are pretty uncreative. Red Volcano, Yellow Desert.
Yes, Green Forest or Jungle.
Yep. I think it actually has Green Hill again.
Well, yeah. It's pretty much every zone is just like color coded in the name.
It's
Color location.
Sonic Colors.
It's Sonic Colors before it was cool.
Yeah.
Sonic Colors, 15 years earlier.
Except it isn't good.
Thank God we got this.
Sonic Blast is pretty much.
Yeah, the zones are Green Hill Zone, Yellow Desert, Red Volcano, Blue Marine, and Silver Castle.
Yeah, screw Blue Marine. Like that's the worst water stage I probably ever played.
Now I'm interested in the Silver Castle. That's actually quite creative, seeing as castles don't tend to be silver. In fantasy,
I think it was more. Well, the silver. I think because it was Robotnik's lair, so it's metal, and then castle is just another word for fortress.
Pretty much.
And they just call it Steel Fortress.
Because then it doesn't fit with the color motif.
What do the Chaos Emeralds do in the game? Because I've never bothered.
They get you the better ending.
Oh, okay. Wait, don't they give you the extra boss?
I think so.
Yeah.
I very vaguely remember I don't remember a lot about Sonic Blast. I just remember that it was bland.
Yeah. When you play the game, you're probably not going to remember anything of it the next day. If I'm quite honest, there's just nothing you can remember about the game. It basically uses sprites from 3D Blast, and it looks really ugly, to be honest.
Yeah. I think the environments don't look all that bad, but the character models are pretty horrible. They tried to do the Donkey Kong Country thing, and it just didn't work.
Pretty much. Well, the thing with Donkey Kong Country, those games are actually worth your time.
Yeah, except Returns. Fuck Donkey Kong Country Returns. Tropical Freeze is good though.
Oh yeah, Tropical Freeze was a great game, but
we're not talking about Donkey Kong.
expand on.
There was Sonic Schoolhouse.
Nope. Moving on.
It uses sprite assets from Sonic Extreme. I didn't know that.
Huh.
Released. I'm ashamed to have been born in that year, seeing as an education game got released in that year.
A lot of educational games were released in a lot of years.
Yeah, I'm ashamed to have been.
And then there was Sonic R, which we already talked about.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
And then Sonic Adventure.
Oh yes, we're going into the 3D era. This is where things get interesting.
Yeah, Sonic Adventure, while it's certainly, I doubt it's as good as it was in '98. I barely remember, as by the time that game came out, I was, let me see here. How old was I when Sonic Adventure came out? About 3 months old. So I don't know if how good it was in 1998.
Well,
I doubt it. I think it was probably. It hasn't aged quite as well as other games, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think it was probably better in '98 than it is now, but it's still really good for Sonic's first technical venture into 3D.
What month did it release?
December.
December, okay. I'd probably be like 1 or something.
It was actually 3 months and 2 days old when that game came out.
But yeah, so I can't say how good it was back then either, but when I first played the game, I didn't know that Sonic X adapted the story from it. So back then I was just like, oh cool, a game like Sonic X, which was back when I actually thought that series was actually good.
It's still
I still like things about. I still like things about Sonic X.
Yeah, Sonic X is like decent, but it's not.
When I say I like things about Sonic X, I mean I like the Sonic Adventure storylines.
Very
That's
much.
it.
Pretty much. Those are probably the best parts. When it got into the whole Meta X saga, it just got really weird.
Meta X Saga was silly and stupid, and I loved every second of it. So dumb.
Comic books.
It just got really weird. But I still enjoyed it.
Shadow came back from the dead.
Well, it made more sense in the main series, but in X, it was just like it just came out of nowhere.
Isn't Shadow a
He's just like, I'm alive now.
I just remember him like popping out of that Haunted Mansion episode, just like, "Yo, I'm here. What's up?"
Yeah. With Sonic Heroes, they like with the actual games, at least they were under the guise of we're gonna explain it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sonic X was like, nah, he's just alive again. Fuck you.
Yeah. Pretty much, but with Sonic Adventure. Wait, what?
Sonic Adventure is a really good game. I actually have played the original Dreamcast version, and it's while it's still not the most stable game, like programming wise, it's less glitchy than the GameCube port, and certainly less glitchy than the Xbox 360 PS3 port.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of like the visual style for that better than the everything is shiny style of the GameCube port.
Well, at this point, I've only played the GameCube ports, but from my experience, I've always enjoyed my time with the game. It definitely hasn't aged particularly well, but I can't really blame the game for that because it's like Sonic's first real 3D game. So, for a first attempt, it's decent. It's a really solid attempt because they still try to have like the whole balance with speed and platforming and the whole like speed as a reward kind of aspect, and the other playing the other characters is actually really fun minus Big. I never enjoyed fishing.
Yeah, I think Big's gameplay probably could have been good because something cannot fit within a game but still be decent. Like the guns in Shadow the Hedgehog did not fit the universe at all, but they worked.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the guns were unnecessary, but they were fun to use and they worked. So I
could probably had Big's gameplay been or not been the pain in the ass to play it was with the rod constantly getting stuck around stuff.
Yeah.
Camera angles being completely awful.
Yeah, it's just
being hard to even get a grasp on Froggy.
It was. I pretty much put this upon myself because I got all the emblems, so it just pretty much killed me in getting the extra missions done because it takes like a full 5 to 10 minutes to get one fish sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's just
it's funny, seeing as Sega somehow made an entire fishing series over the mechanics from that game.
Well,
Yeah, see, the Sega bass fishing games are good, so I don't even know.
Yeah.
And Sonic Adventure is good and featured the introduction of Crush 40.
Ah, yes. A really awesome introduction as well.
Which, by the way, I actually have some Crush 40 songs playing in the background right now. So
I can't hear them.
Open Your Heart is just amazing. And they also brought in.
Although I like the extra version. What was it? What the fuck is that version called? I'm gonna Google it.
I was gonna
The
say.
the Crush 40 versus Bentley Jones version. That's what I'm thinking
Oh yeah, okay. I was gonna say Sonic Adventure introduced like vocal themes, but then I was just like, oh yeah, CD.
of. It introduced them as a consistent part of Sonic.
Well, yeah, pretty much, because like every character has.
Before that, there was only CD, and technically the OVA movie, I guess.
I guess, but more. I'm talking more so of the games.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we should never mention the Sonic fan movie.
Wasn't planning on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing that's going to get beeped out of the podcast.
Well, nah. Well, if I do that, no one will. Everyone would be like, "What did they say?"
Sonic.
Cut that whole little bit out.
They can't.
Uh,
It's too black.
After Sonic Adventure, there was Sonic Shuffle.
never played it, and I haven't heard. Has anyone played this game? In this.
I played a bit of it a few years ago. It really is not that bad.
Oh, okay, but.
It is for all intents and purposes a watered down Mario Party, but it's still fun.
Do you guys? Do any of you guys know FDA?
Yeah.
To be honest, his videos I've seen now of when he plays a Sonic game, it honestly seems like he's just blaming the game just because of his skills. Because when he did Sonic Riders, he blamed the game. Well, both games. He blamed the game purely on his skill, and it just kind of annoyed me for that. So, I don't know.
Also, one thing I want to bring up about Sonic Shuffle, a lot of people call it a Mario Party ripoff, but I find it hard to call something a ripoff if it's made by the same people.
Yeah, Hudson Soft made both games, so. Or both series.
That's like saying Darkwing Duck on the NES is a ripoff of Mega Man 5. Even though they're both made by Capcom.
Yeah. I find it funny how Disney and Capcom made games like that on like the NES, but then they come to the GameCube and you get crappy Mickey Mouse games.
Yeah. I think it's probably just due to the change of developer, like a development team.
Yeah, I honestly don't know who developed what, but
It's probably different developers, because if it was the same developers, they probably would have been good.
well, on the box for the Mickey Mouse games, it says Disney and Capcom, but I don't know if it's the exact same people from the like Darkwing Duck and all that.
I imagine it's a different developer, like different people.
Maybe, but
I imagine it's Capcom making the games and Disney just saying, so long as we have our face on the box.
but
Yeah, Disney gives Capcom the license to make the games, so they smack their logo on it because it's their properties. So.
Do you have anything to say about the Chao since they were introduced in Adventure?
Not very good until Adventure 2. They're kind of bland in Sonic Adventure, actually.
Well, yeah, honestly, I just used them to get the emblems you need from doing the races.
I didn't even do that. I really do not care about getting all the emblems in Sonic Adventure. Metal Sonic skin, and it is a skin because he plays exactly like Sonic.
The only reason I did it was just because I'm a completionist, so yeah. But
After Sonic Adventure 2, and we kind of talked about Sonic Shuffle, we have Sonic Adventure 2.
so
Which, if you look back just a few years ago till like 2010, 2011, nothing but praise for Sonic Adventure 2, and now it is one of the most divisive games in the entire series.
Yeah, I've definitely that has happened a lot over the recent years. I still really enjoy the game.
Yeah, I still hold it as the best 3D Sonic game by far.
Again,
Even if most of that is because of nostalgia and because it was my first Sonic game, I don't care. It's still really.
I don't really well I say this, but I enjoy Heroes and partially 3D Blast because of nostalgia, but in terms of like the actual quality of a game, I don't base that off of nostalgia. And like even with Sonic Adventure 2, I don't have that much nostalgia for it, but I still enjoy it thoroughly. Like when I do a full playthrough of the story mode, there isn't really like a big standout point that I find like boring.
There are levels in the entire game that I would say are bad, and that's Meteor Herd and Mad Space.
Pardon me. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. You pretty much have to be lucky, like if you're gonna spend like 5 minutes or like 20 minutes in those levels.
Yeah, the only problem with the reason I don't like Mad Space and Meteor Herd is just they're too damn big.
Pretty much, and it makes it really annoying when you're trying to get an A rank because it's based on how fast you can get the emerald pieces, and to get a perfect, you have to get a piece under a minute, I believe. So, considering how big those stages are, it just makes it a pain.
Yeah, I've been getting a bit more used to Mad Space recently, but still.
Yeah, partially the gravity is what screws me over in that stage, but yeah, it just gets kind of confusing, like where you need to go.
Yeah.
But
I also had some troubles with Security Hall, but after failing it so many damn times, I got so used to the level design that it's not even an issue anymore.
I actually really like Security Hall just because it's a different take on the treasure hunting formula, and it makes you think differently, I guess.
Yeah.
But speaking of different styles, I honestly, like, everyone says, oh, only Sonic and Shadow has the good levels. I honestly enjoy all the styles in the game. Like,
I will say that Sonic and Shadow have the best levels, but most of the game are really good.
Yeah, because like Sonic and Shadow have the best levels, but I wouldn't mind playing a Tails or Eggman stage or a treasure hunting stage with Knuckles and Rouge. They're not as good, but they're still fun to play.
Yeah.
Because I feel Eggman has the better stages than Tails though, just because I think Tails wasn't originally going to be in the game.
Yeah, he was added at the last second because
Yeah.
fans were angry that he wasn't in the game. Like, he was still going to be part of the story, but he wasn't going to be playable.
I wonder what would happen if they made Amy playable again, because I did like her playstyle in SA1.
I think it probably would have been similar, just tweaked.
They probably didn't. They probably went against it just because, like, the whole 3 characters on each side kind of thing. And also that would have made Hero's side way too long in comparison to Dark Side, because they already have two more stages. So what do you guys think of the whole emblems thing?
Emblem?
They're fun to try to get, but I don't know if I want to go through it because I don't really know if Green Hill Zone is worth it.
I've got all of the emblems after like 5-6 years. It's an okay reward, but it's not. It really isn't something you should go out of your way to get.
I might do it at some point because I've slowly been getting more and more emblems as I go on. But
Yeah.
eh,
I essentially just got it because I was just like in the mood to go back to the game, and I eventually just got it after playing the game for a while. So.
also I somehow managed to A rank security hall. I have no idea how I did it.
It it took me a while to understand the best strategy to do the find a cherry mission. So I know what to do, but it's just you have to do it so quick to get that A rank.
Yeah,
So
that's the same way that you gotta be really fast.
yeah.
After Sonic Adventure, there was Sonic Advance.
I haven't played this, so I want to play it.
Sonic Advance is while I think that Sonic Advance 3 is the better game, Sonic Advance is the real Sonic 4 as far as I'm concerned.
Agreed. Yeah, from what I've seen. Yeah.
It's essentially the classic games gameplay style with character models and kind of design philosophy of the modern games.
Yeah, and it also didn't go backwards. That you have Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy as playable characters, whereas in Sonic 4 Episode 1, you just have Sonic.
Yeah. And even in Sonic 4 Episode 2, you really just had Sonic.
Yeah, unless you're like a second player, but still.
That doesn't count. The only problem I really have with Sonic Advance is the controls are kind of sluggish, but it doesn't ruin the experience.
Alright.
And there's Sonic Advance 2.
Oh, right after.
Sonic Advance 2 sucks.
I liked Sonic Advance. I'm not sure which one I had, but I liked it.
That's the Sonic Advance 1 you're probably talking about.
Sorry, I've been zoned out for the last little while.
I'm not surprised. You haven't been saying anything for a while.
Sorry, I've been the voice of the viewer, being, yeah, I've kind of zoned out. I'm trying to listen. I'm honestly trying to learn about Sonic's history, and I don't know anything.
Okay.
Unless we go to Riders, I don't know.
Well, but well, what's bad about the game? Since I've never really played it or seen that much of it, so.
The
level
save system. That's what's bad about it.
Yeah. The level design is boring. The music is all right. Honestly, mainly it's the level design. I'm not interested in anything that goes on.
Yeah. Well,
It's boring.
Well, when the level design is boring like that, it kind of kills the whole game because that's like most of the game itself. So.
And trying to get the Chaos Emeralds is arguably worse than in Sonic Advance 1. In Sonic Advance 1, it was easy to get into the special stages, just the special stages themselves were a pain in the ass to do. In Sonic Advance 2, it's a pain in the ass to get to the special stages, and the special stages suck.
Don't you have to get
To
like?
them, you have to find you have to get like 5 of these specific gold rings throughout the stage. Or
Oh
at
yeah,
least 5.
so it's essentially.
But they are. It's kind of like it's actually really similar to metal hunting in Sonic Unleashed in the day levels, because more often than not you will rocket right past them and either not notice them or notice them too late and not be able to go back for them.
So it's essentially a bad version of the Red Rings.
Yeah,
Because they're both.
they're placed in such awkward spots that you will either not see them because they're just above the screen, or you didn't jump high enough or whatever, or they just blend into the background.
Are they in every level?
Every level. There's like 7 or 8 in every level, and you have to find, I think, at least 5 of them to get to the special stage.
Wow.
Yay.
And then the special stages, you collect a bunch of rings and don't get attacked by Zero.
Oh yeah, they randomly brought Zero back for some reason. They don't explain it. He's just there.
Who?
He's the main villain of Amy's story in SA1. He's pretty much just some random robot trying to capture Amy, pretty much. And in every level you have to avoid him.
He's trying to get the bird back.
Well, yeah, but he gets Amy as well, so.
Yeah.
But the
Sonic
main.
Advance 2,
Huh?
not good. I will say Sonic Advance 2 has some interesting level themes, like Music Plant.
Oh, yeah.
But the level design
Music.
itself is pretty boring.
Yeah, the only things I've seen of the game are really from Sonic Mega Collection. I believe it had like a Sonic Advance 2 like trailer for it or something. So it made the game
Mega
look
Collection?
decent. It made the game look decent.
It's not. It's worth playing. It's worth playing just to see, but it's not really a good game.
Mm.
After that, there's Sonic Pinball Party. It's pinball.
Yay!
I haven't seen anything of this game, so I don't have any input.
It's pinball. It's more pinball than Sonic's pinball because there's none of the random platforming and objectives to complete. It is just pinball.
So it's just
You can
basically.
probably emulate it using that pinball game on Steam.
So it's essentially just see how high you can
Yeah.
make your high score go.
Yeah, I still want to track down a copy, not only because I'm trying to complete my Sonic collection, but just because I like pinball.
At some point, I might go and just buy every Sonic game, just because I'm insane. But
I've owned nearly all of them. The only ones I'm not trying to buy are like the really pointless spin-offs like Sonic Schoolhouse.
yeah,
Stuff like Sonic CD, which I own on a multitude of platforms, and Sega
yeah.
Knuckles Chaotix I do plan on buying eventually.
Yeah, I have like 3 versions of Sonic CD. I have the Gems Collection version. I bought it on Steam, and then I bought it on the PS3 just because I wanted to record the game for C's Brain, but I didn't. I can't record Steam stuff, and I don't really want to go back to the Gems Collection version. So
After Sonic Pinball Party, there was Sonic Battle. Really good concept, but the fights are not really very fun. Like, I really like the concept of learning moves from your opponents and using them to make Emerald as strong as possible, but the controls are really stiff and sluggish, and it makes the fights kind of boring. And pretty early on, you come to this fight with Knuckles, where if you have not equipped the right moves, Knuckles will kick your ass, and that's only, I don't even think like an hour into the game. And it's a fight that is really difficult.
that's actually what happened to me. I didn't have the best experience with the game just because I remember I played it out at a friend's house on an emulator with a keyboard, so I don't have the best experience with it. Maybe I'll give it another shot at some point in the future, but probably not anytime soon.
Yeah, it's not a bad game. It's just not incredibly great.
Yeah, from what I played, it was decent. It was decent enough, but nothing special.
After that, there's Sonic Heroes.
Yes,
Which-
that game is interesting. I've
For-
never completed it because I suck at it, but I have that game.
It's pretty. It's
I got Sonic Heroes like on launch or around launch, and I didn't finish it completely until 2013.
I think it's probably the starting point of when the Sonic fanbase just pretty much went downhill.
Yeah, it was around I would say it's at Sonic Adventure when Sonic had green eyes.
Yeah. Well, people still praised the games and all that.
Yeah, but people still bitched about the green eyes. But Sonic
Yeah,
Heroes
true.
was definitely where the fan base started to suck.
Yeah. Besides, the Sonic Adventure era was fine for the most part, except the whole green eyes and bullcrap like that, but yeah. But Sonic Heroes, I really enjoyed the whole team aspect of the game because it's unique, and the game is pretty much designed around it. So I never really found it to be an issue. It's really intuitive as well. It's really quick and easy to switch characters. I feel so. Yeah, I never had a problem with doing that.
I will actually. This is the point when I'll actually talk about something that I don't like in Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal, which for the most part I think is a really good game. But trying to switch characters in that game is kind of difficult because you're supposed to use the D-pad.
Yeah. Well, I need to play that game. I haven't even touched that yet.
It's good. It's kind of like Tails Adventure.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's the best way I can describe it.
Well, I get the basic gist of the game through the demo.
It's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
Sonic Heroes, I don't like it anywhere near as much as I did when I was a kid, but I still like it to an
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah, same. And I do like that they took a break from the whole serious story and basically brought in more of a kid-friendly side of Sonic with the whole, yeah, let's crack the egghead right wide open, let's party, stuff like that.
Yeah. Story-wise, it is the closest thing to the Genesis games I think any of the modern Sonic games have been.
Yeah. And
Except for maybe Lost World.
I think the Sonic games now are just trying to be their own thing and not be compared to the old ones. So each new one is a new story.
well, yeah, that.
There's a certain theory that I have that I'll talk about when we get to Sonic Boom in this
Yeah.
list.
Which might be a while.
Well, it's
I
already
doubt it.
was.
Eh.
We're already in Sonic Heroes.
And how long have we been recording?
Let me check as soon as my computer stops being frozen.
It's been an
The call's been going on for about an hour and a half,
I've been recording for an hour and like 18 minutes, so
and then we should be fine.
okay.
There's a lot of this is spin-offs and stuff that we should be able to get through quickly.
Yay!
We were on Sonic Heroes, weren't we?
I swear, we're gonna get to one Sonic game particularly, and then 3 days later.
But
5 months later.
I do like that they brought back Metal Sonic though.
Yeah, this was the last time Metal Sonic was really like a prominent threat in the games, and I don't count Sonic 4 Episode 2 because he wasn't a threat in that game. He really was not.
He really wasn't.
He was there.
When you look at Episode Metal, it's kind of like, oh crap, this is he means business. But when you actually play Episode 2, it's just like, meh.
Hey, bro.
Very
That
much.
should have been packaged as one thing.
Like Metal Sonic is definitely. I think he's the best rival for Sonic.
Yeah. I just wish they'd use him more often. Another reason
Yeah.
why I like the comics more. Metal Sonic does stuff more often in those.
Yeah, it's like.
Although, random fun fact, they, for some reason, in his initial appearance in the comics, they called Metal Sonic Mecha Sonic.
Oh yeah,
Only eight issues later, they would unveil their own Mecha Sonic, which was a roboticized Sonic. And by the time they had done their Metal Sonic story in issue 25, there had already been Mecha Sonic in Sonic 3.
yeah.
So, and I could kind of understand in the initial printing because, like, all right, there's nothing really to confuse it with in the comics, fine. But in the reprint in Sonic Archives, why would you not change it to Metal Sonic?
Yeah. People still think that Mecha Sonic in 3 was Metal Sonic.
Yeah, he's not though.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sonic Heroes was pretty good story-wise. I
The
liked that
mu-
it actually used
Yeah.
Metal Sonic for something.
And like some Call Me Johnny said in his review, the graphics just scream Genesis.
Yeah, they're really colorful, and I still occasionally I just look at screenshots of Sonic Heroes simply because I like how colorful it is, and I really hate the still growing popularity of brown in games.
Yeah. But one thing you mentioned about Joey a while back with the whole Sonic games on their own thing now, which is true in one like side of things, but they also bring back like old assets, I guess. But they bring back
certain elements,
Yeah.
but they are from the classic games, but they aren't really trying to be like them.
Yeah, pretty much. It's essentially like a balance. Like you have you're bringing back badniks and some things like that, but you're making the game itself essentially its own thing.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind that. I don't see anyone. I've never met anyone who doesn't enjoy the badniks. So
Is that all we gotta say about Sonic Heroes?
the music's really good.
Yeah. I especially like the vocal themes, especially
Yeah.
What I'm Made Of.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Gonna go against the norm and say that What I'm Made Of is my personal favorite vocal theme from the entire series.
That's
Escape from Adventure 2.
wait, what?
Isn't Escape from the City from Adventure 2?
Yeah.
Right.
that's-
I chance right.
Yeah, that's the first level. Well, if you play Sonic first.
Yeah.
Sonic needs to escape from that city.
Lol. Well, canonically, Eggman stage is first.
Yeah.
But either way, What I'm Made Of is definitely one of my favorites as well. I don't. The multiplayer was all right for what it was. It's no Adventure 2, but it's good for what it is.
Yeah, I honestly don't know if this series will ever have another multiplayer feature that is as good as Sonic Adventure 2's.
Yeah, it's like they've definitely tried, but I don't think they'll ever reach that level again. Well, it depends if they go back to the adventure style, because you only really have Sonic for most of these games now.
Yeah.
So that kind of shoots you in the foot with the whole bringing in diversity into the whole multiplayer thing. But I think we've said everything for Heroes.
Is there more to say on Sonic Advance, because the third one's next?
Is it?
Sonic Advance 3 is good. I'd say that it's the best of the three Sonic Advance games. It's got the most interesting level design to me. The music is slightly better than Sonic Advance 1's, and I like the team mechanic. Although some matchups were just not meant to be done. Like if I recall correctly, with the Knuckles and Amy matchup, Knuckles can't glide.
Wow. I do like it's more. I like Sonic for Episode 2, but I feel from what I've seen in Advance 3, just because there's more characters, you have more room for just experimentation.
Yeah, the two-character team-up works better in Advance 3 than it did in Episode 2.
Yeah, Episode 2 was really, really situational.
Yeah, Sonic Advance 3 is good. A lot of people don't like it, but I'm forever in the minority on everything. Sega Superstars sure is a thing.
I've seen Clement play the game, and that's the only thing I've seen of the game.
Yep, same.
I
think I know somebody who I think I knew somebody who owned it, but I never that was it. I never played it. Saw them play it.
It looks hilarious just to play for a laugh, but other than that, it just looks meh.
The only thing I can say is the iToy was way better than the Kinect. So we moving on.
True.
Yeah, that is true. I remember playing the iToy Play 2 with a couple of friends a long time ago. That was a blast. A lot more fun than anything I've seen on the Kinect.
I'll talk about it later because that time it'll make sense.
Yeah.
And Sega Superstars is a thing.
One sec, people are calling me.
Okay. What's next?
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, this is where things start to change.
First, I'm going to say that I like the gameplay of Shadow the Hedgehog still. I think that it's fun. It's not the best game in the series, even close, but I like it.
Right, I'm back, and we started talking about Out the Edge.
Yes.
Damn it, I missed the chance because my parents were calling me. I knew I was going to miss the chance to say Out the Edge.
But I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think we need to bring up the story at all, just because everyone knows.
It's so convolutedly mucked up. It's like, why would you even?
Well, as a concept, the story I think it's pretty easy to understand once you've taken into consideration the stuff that has been confirmed to be canon and non-canon. But it's just that the concept of the story is so unbelievably stupid.
Yeah,
Stories.
Here's the best way to describe just the beginning of it. Shadow stands in a field contemplating life when suddenly aliens.
pretty much.
They literally fall from the sky.
It's pretty much just an excuse for Shadow to be like, oh, am I the good guy or am I the bad guy, kind of thing.
The answer is, we still don't know.
Well, he's kind of more of an anti-hero now. He really just goes all over the place, to be honest.
It depends on the game and to an extent the universe, because in the main game's universe he's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
In Boom he pretty much seems to be a villain, and in the comics he's a good guy.
Well, from what I've seen in Sonic Boom, he's just a jerk.
He's a villain because he technically it's because of mind control, if I recall correctly, but he still works for Lyric.
Well, I think the mind control thing was exclusively for Shattered Crystal.
It was in the Wii U version as well. Also, in the comic that is included in Shattered Crystal, with the within Sonic's shack, Shadow literally comes out of nowhere.
Also,
Lyric and his robots are just digging up looking for the crystals, and then Shadow shows up, and he's essentially like, "Hey."
Wow.
And then Lyric mind controls him.
I'd be kind of freaked out if Shadow just randomly popped out of nowhere.
He might as well have
random.
Lyric is digging for the crystal. We zoom in on a rock, and then Shadow appears behind the rock.
What?
Shadow. No one digs for crystals in front of his rock.
I wonder what one of the writers was thinking when they made Sonic say, "Well, was Amy taking selfies?"
I think the writers were thinking pop cultural reference. That's surely not going to make our game age 10 times more than it usually does.
What they were just trying to bring in more. I think probably just trying to get more of a semblance of what to expect Sonic Boom's humor to be. Silly pop culture references, or just really silly in general, which I don't mind. I like silly humor. That's one of the reasons why I actually am one of the few people who enjoy Teen Titans Go.
I haven't seen that, so. Well,
if you expect it to be anything like the 2003 series, you're going to be sorely disappointed, because it's goofy, it's silly, it's really stupid, and not really anything like the 2003 series. That's why I like it.
I haven't seen Teen Titans, period, so I don't really have anything to go by.
Well, you'll probably enjoy it. It's silly, really silly. Like. Borderline Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, silly.
Well, I enjoyed that a lot growing up, so.
Just imagine that, but less extreme.
Yeah. Well, I like over the top kind of things for cartoons, so.
It's fun.
I like villains that are evil because of the sake of evil.
I don't even know where we were.
Shadow. We were talking about Shadow.
Into game.
I like the gameplay. Story is stupid, really stupid.
From the gameplay is fine once you're doing the whole like get to the goal kind of missions, but it's just like some of the missions are fine, but others are just a pain.
Revive. What was it, like heal 10 soldiers?
Yeah, stuff
When
like
you're
that.
On the Doom. The Doom can just go die. Any level on the Space Colony arc can just go die.
Pretty much. The one where you had to raise Sonic, that one's not bad.
Even then.
Yeah. Well, I feel it would have worked kind of better if you had like different pathways depending on the mission you did, because again, the level where you race Sonic, that it happens in there where you destroy the whole like defense systems, whatever, and then that leads you to a different pathway for the dark mission. I feel if they did things like that more, I probably would have liked the game a lot more than I do.
Yeah, I still enjoy it. Again, though, that's probably one of the cases where a lot of it is nostalgia, because I got Shadow the Hedgehog pretty quick on release. I rented it from Hollywood Video, and since I didn't quite get the mission thing, I just did all the gold ring stuff, and I enjoyed it. I think I was lucky because I got a good first impression.
Yeah.
By only being about 7 years old at the time.
Yeah. The most of the vehicles are kind of pointless, but the guns, while they're unnecessary, they're fun to use, and again they work. So
yeah. Shadow, I enjoy it. Most of the vocal themes are really good.
there's like 12 or something, isn't there?
Yeah. Almost Dead is the most out of place one, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's like you don't really get that again until, I guess, Asteroid Coaster's map theme.
Yeah.
But shall we move on? Or what about Black Doom?
Next up is Sonic Rush. It's alright. I like Sonic Rush Adventure more, but Sonic Rush is really good. Soundtrack is amazing.
I feel kind of bad with that, because I saw Sonic Rush in stores once, and it was like £8, and I got London Olympics instead. But the only reason was because I promised to do a blind LP. That was the only reason I got the game. It's still a good game, but I honestly think I would rather have gotten Rush.
Yeah. I don't ever remember seeing commercials for Sonic Rush.
Neither do I, to be honest.
I just saw it in a Kmart in like 2010, bought it.
I have nothing to say.
I like how like wacky, I guess, the music is just like back to back and spinning us back. Yeah.
Basically not. I'm just saying things because I have nothing to say and I want people to know I'm still alive.
Yay.
Just died or fallen asleep.
Well, now we know. Yeah, Sonic Rush is good, especially the soundtrack, but the sequel's better.
And Blaze is pretty cool as a character. So, well, she's pretty much a not really a female Sonic, but she's almost.
She's a female Sonic.
But pretty much, but she has her own abilities. So.
Yeah, but. Yeah. Out of 2005, we head into the year with Sonic Riders.
Is that the only game that released that year?
No.
No, it's not the only game that released that year. But it was a very good game. We should
don't really care.
talk about this game as long as possible so we don't have to talk about the other game that came out that year, which we won't mention. Otherwise it'd be too obvious.
I don't really care for Sonic Riders 1 all that much.
Oh, it's awesome.
Mainly, what really ruins it for me is the air gimmick. It's a pain in the ass. It works, and I understand it, and I see why that it is there, but it's still irritating.
Yeah, that took me a little bit to get used to, but it. I guess your enjoyment of the game really determines on the whole. If you can not necessarily get used to it, but just I guess just enjoy the air meter and the.
Yeah, if you don't mind the air gimmick, then you'll probably enjoy Sonic Riders. But
Yeah.
I could not get past it and did not enjoy Sonic Riders. The main theme is awesome though. Sonic Speed Riders is one of the best songs in the series.
Yeah, I.
Can I just say, Sonic Riders has something that we should have in this year. It has just become
What?
hoverboards.
Yeah. For me,
Yeah.
I guess the main reason I enjoy Riders is just because of how fast-paced it is and how quick it wants you to think. Because you're constantly you constantly need to drift over a corner and just do tricks and stuff like that, and it's I just find it exhilarating overall.
I like it.
Moving on.
In slightly unrelated news, Famitsu asked gamers what their most anticipated games were for 2015. The biggest, the most mentioned ones were Bravely Second, Final Fantasy 15, Persona 5, Xenoblade Chronicles X, and Tales of Zestiria.
What about Splatoon?
Happening again. Anyway, Sonic Riders has good things about it, but the air gimmick ruined it for me.
On to the next thing.
Sonic 06. Otherwise known as Sonic the Hedgehog!
06.
This is
A failed attempt at rebooting a franchise that nearly killed the franchise.
Enjoyed by me, because I don't hate Sonic 06. I did not run into a lot of the problems that people mentioned. Glitches rarely happen to me unless I'm actively trying to make them happen, or if I'm recording, because that's just my damn luck.
Well, I don't really. For me, the game isn't bad on a glitch standpoint. Yeah, the game is glitchy, but that's not why I don't like the game. It's purely because of purely for a technical standpoint. I just never found a part of the game fun. The level design I found really boring, and I can see what they were trying to do, but for me it just the execution in general for the game is just it feels unfinished. I feel if they put the time and put time into finishing the game, it could have been worthy of an SA3.
I still sit for it is Sonic Adventure 3. No matter what it is actually titled, and no matter what anybody says, Sonic 06 is Sonic Adventure 3.
It's just shit.
It is the closest thing we will ever get.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
So what about Sonic Heroes 2? When are we getting that?
It's funny you
Probably never.
Wait, what?
Probably never.
Well, it's funny you say that though, because Takashi Iizuka actually has gone on record saying he'd love to bring the style back. So you never know.
It kind of did with Shattered Crystal wherein you switch between characters within the level, but it's not really the same thing.
No, I don't think that's what he meant.
Yeah.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's still similar. I don't even think Takashi Iizuka worked on that game, but still.
No.
Of course, that was just testing the waters to bring him back on board and say, this sort of brings us money, try and make a full game out of it.
Well.
And then his previously made Sonic Adventure 2 never released. No, Sonic Heroes 2, sorry.
Yeah.
Adventure 2 did get released.
Well, why, if they do make a Heroes 2 at some point, what I want is for them to make the teams have their own specific stages, because it kind of gets tedious playing.
The big problem with Sonic Heroes was playing through the exact same stages 4 times.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I was going with that.
Oh, and don't make getting the Chaos Emeralds mandatory to finish the game.
Mm.
And if you are going to do that, make the special stages good.
The music in the special stages were good, but yeah.
Yeah, but the special stages sucked.
It's like
And,
it's either you spent 5 seconds in the special stages or like 5 minutes.
yeah. And back to Sonic 06, I really don't think it's that bad. A lot of the issues people brought up are completely negated if you know about them, like from the internet.
Mm. Well, yeah,
I just got lucky and never ran into them. But there's somebody that I know that I talk to fairly regularly. By the time they played Sonic 06 last year, they had already known everything about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I got into the game, because I knew pretty much what everyone said at the time, and I didn't want to hate the game, but I just couldn't enjoy it. I tried to multiple times, but it just never worked out for me.
It definitely has problems, and I really dislike how often they use his world. But
Yeah, it's a great theme, but it's overused.
There are only 2 versions. There's only one version of his world that I never got tired of listening to, and that was the one that plays in Solaris Phase 2.
Oh yeah, that was a great way to end the game.
Yeah. Anyway, Sonic Rivals.
I've seen some playthroughs of the game. It looks alright.
It's pretty good, but the sequel is better.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the better ways to approach a Sonic racing game, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, it does look like a fun time.
Yeah, like if they tweaked that and made it more than 2 people at once, then I think it could be really cool.
Are we talking about Rivals or 06?
Rivals.
Rivals.
Yeah,
So I signed out for all of 06.
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
Rivals probably the best way in concept to approach a Sonic racing game. So if they tweaked that and had it with like more than 2 characters at the same time, we'd probably have a really good Sonic racer on our hands.
Yeah. We do have a really good Sonic racer.
Well, kind of, but it's not really a Sonic racer so much as it is a Sega racer.
Ah, you're talking about Transformed.
Yes.
Which is good, but isn't really a Sonic racer, it's a Sega racer.
No, true, but it's still it's the best Sonic racer, or Sega racer, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to do a racer that is completely Sonic, probably best to do it similar to Rivals.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to say for Rivals?
Nope. Didn't
Next
say
up.
first place, but nope.
Next up, Sonic and the Secret Rings.
Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Because,
By far, the worst game in the series.
It's kind of, for me, it's kind of like a 3D blast again, because, like, yeah, the game is bad, and I can say why, but I enjoy it more than most people. It's just, yeah. I don't know.
The only thing I can really compliment is I think the visuals are good for an early Wii game, and some of the soundtrack is good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just the game itself never really rubbed me the wrong way as it did for almost everyone else.
I think like half or around like 80% of its problems would be solved if you could just use the fucking GameCube controller or something.
Yeah, pardon me. They pretty much fixed all that with Black Knight, so they learnt.
Yay.
Wait, you can't play with the GameCube controller, but still.
Oh.
Yeah, but they still fixed it.
Yeah.
Don't fix what ain't broke. Well, if it's broke, then you should fix it.
Yeah.
And fun fact, Sonic and the Secret Rings started off as a port of Sonic 06.
Yeah, it did, and then they turned it into a different game.
And it started out with the rather stupid title of Sonic Wildfire. After that, there's Sonic Rush Adventure, which I think is better than Sonic Rush.
Well, there's a new venture which is really too catchy for its own good.
Yeah, a new venture is really good. Although I'd say that the soundtrack is probably the only thing that is better in the original Sonic Rush than Sonic Rush Adventure.
Mm. Again, I still need to play the games, but I haven't played most of the handheld Sonic games actually.
And most of them are really good. The handheld
Yeah.
games are probably the most consistently good.
Yeah.
Do we really want to talk about Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games? Because it's
No,
a spin-off. And
Not really.
it's
I
a
have
game.
I have literally nothing to say about that game.
I've played 2010, I think.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games is really good. And
Yeah.
that's about it.
Should we just get this Mario and Sonic out of the way?
The only ones worth playing are Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games and Mario Sonic at the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympic Games. They're done.
I enjoyed the 2012 London Olympics. It's not as fun as the Winter Games, but
And I haven't played the London one.
it's definitely better than the original. I'll say that. They actually made the games fun.
Out of the ones that I played, I gotta say that the DS version of the original is probably the worst because there's like 6 mini games in that one.
Yeah, that's atrocious. Like, I thought the Wii game was bad in terms of like mini games and stuff, but dang.
Now, that one I think is really only bad because none of the mini games, like they hadn't gotten the motion controls quite right, and
Yeah.
so the mini games didn't always work.
I-
But the DS version is bad because there are barely any mini games in the first place.
I swear that when you play the original, it just makes you wanna. They just want you to work out, because I went through like 2 circuits in a row one time, and it literally felt like I was gonna pass out. I'm not even joking about that.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, there's Sonic Rivals 2, which kind of talked about with Sonic Rivals 1. They're really similar games. Rivals 2 is just tweaks that make the original better, or that make it better than the original.
Yeah. Again, I should find a way to play these games because they do spark my interest.
This one was kind of late. In 2007, Sonic X for the Leapster.
It's an edutainment game.
Da-da-da-da.
It also never
I've
got.
never played it. So.
Neither have I. So
It never got released. You should look at.
I know. I think it got released.
Let's see. Oh, Sonic Extreme never got released.
yeah,
Neither did,
got
and
released.
neither did Sonic Extreme.
yeah.
Sonic X got released. Sonic Extreme never got released.
I thought we were talking about some Sonic X game.
No, that existed, and there'd probably be a higher suicide count, but
Sonic X on the Leapster is loosely based off of Sonic X the anime.
well, it's the Leapster. Everything on that was based off something else to try and sell the product. Didn't work.
This
Thing
this
fucked.
this is the first time I've heard about this game, so
Character sprites are ripped right from Sonic 3,
huh.
apparently. It's the only Sonic game to feature Chris, aside from the cameo in Sonic Adventure DX.
And everyone was just
And
like,
it's the only form of Sonic X media not to have Cosmo in even a cameo role.
I wonder if they'd ever make Cosmo canon.
Probably not.
Yeah, it's unlikely, but yeah.
Anyway, in more interesting territory, Sonic Riders Zero Gravity.
Yay!
I haven't played this game, so
It's really good. I like Sonic Riders Zero Gravity a lot.
Although, if you think about it, there was technically zero gravity in the other games. And by the other games, I mean the other one game. The other one.
The other game.
the other game.
But technically, yeah, but not quite to the level of this one.
Mm. I really like the look of Zero Gravity, and that's pretty much all I can say.
Oh, so is that why you
Zero
like
Gravity is good.
it so much?
Wait, what?
It also gave us the amazing vocal theme that is Ungravitify,
Oh yeah, I love that so much.
especially the Crush 40 version. The next major game to be released was Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. It was bad.
So you've just skipped Sega Superstars and Smash Bros. Brawl.
Bro.
Well, Brawl's not a Sonic game, and Sega Superstars is a tennis game.
Yeah.
But they have Sonic in it, and it's
So?
on the list.
Yeah, but you can then you'd say like Brawl was a Pokemon game and a Zelda game and a Mario game. It doesn't work like
Yeah,
that.
a lot of the major Metroid sites like Metroid Database actually list the Super Smash Brothers games and the Nintendo Land Metroid Blast minigame as Metroid games.
Wow.
Okay, Brawl I
I
can
find that really silly.
The Smash games I can sort of see where they're coming from, but the Nintendo Disneyland, whatever it was, no.
Well, Smash Bros. Is pretty much just its own identity entirely.
Yeah. Anyway, the Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood was bad.
I've played like 5 seconds of it, so I have no experience.
It's bad. I enjoy it as a guilty pleasure kind of thing. I will gladly go back to play it, but it is not a good game.
I still want to try the game at some point, but it isn't a good game from what I've heard and seen.
I'll give it credit. I'll give it some credit by saying that the battle themes are really good, and then that's it.
The music. Do we really need to say anything about the music?
No, other than somebody actually asked the composer why the music in Sonic Chronicles is the way it is, and he just said because that's how I made it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that same composer did the music for Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric, and Shattered Crystal.
And also did Transformed, which is an amazing soundtrack, by the way.
He's done a couple of other really good ones. Let me try to see what they are.
How, jumping the gun a bit here, but how is the soundtrack for Sonic Boom, both games? Because from what I've heard from people, it's really unmemorable.
It's really good, but you will not remember it.
Ah, so it's one of those games where it's good when you're playing the game, but you won't remember it when you stop playing.
Yeah, it's definitely worth listening to like on its own, but it's not something that'll stick in your head.
Right.
Let's see. I'm just gonna go over some of the more notable stuff that Richard Jacques, the composer for Sonic Chronicles, did. Sonic 3D Blast, Sonic R.
Can you feel the
did,
sunshine?
He did one track for Jet Set Radio.
Ah.
He did 2 tracks for Jet Set Radio Future. He did the soundtrack for iToy Play 2 and 3.
Awesome.
He did the Citadel theme for Mass Effect,
Which one?
the first one.
Is it the same theme for all three?
I don't know.
I haven't.
He did the soundtrack for.
Do that exactly.
He did the soundtrack for Sega Superstars Tennis. He did the soundtrack for Sonic and the Black Knight.
Oh, nice! I love that soundtrack.
Worked on the soundtrack for Sonic Generations.
Nice! Wow, this guy has a good track record.
Yeah, he wouldn't have any trouble getting a lot of jobs.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that I'm not mentioning because he's done a lot of different soundtracks. These are just
Wow.
the ones
Just
that I
mentioning
found.
games that you think we may know.
Well, this.
and just ones that I know are decent. And then did the soundtrack for the Sonic Boom games, and he also did the soundtrack for 4 movies, none of which I've seen or even heard of.
So, where were we?
Sonic movies of the fan genre.
Where were we before we go off track?
Brotherhood, but it's bad at the end.
Yeah, okay.
Next up, Sonic Unleashed. I liked it. I liked Sonic Unleashed up until Eggman Land, and then I hated it. Eggman Land made me hate Sonic Unleashed.
Why blow up the planet, build a space station?
I like Sonic Unleashed. It's definitely not one of my favorite games in the franchise, but I still enjoy it. I know.
As we're recording this, the Sonic comics are currently doing a loose adaptation of Sonic Unleashed, and they had really good potential for like one issue. Now the Werehog is exactly the same as he was in Sonic Unleashed. When they introduced him in the comics, he actually seemed interesting because Sonic couldn't control himself when he was transformed. By issue 266, which was right after that, it's fine. He can control himself when in the Werehog form now. No risk whatsoever.
Wow.
Cool.
This pretty.
So no magic gurus or anything.
So it's essentially the writer's way of saying, screw it, we're pretty much too lazy to build that thing up.
We're too lazy to be interesting.
Yeah. Well, the thing with it.
So Ian Flynn is still a good writer, and the rest of what's going on is still interesting. But I feel like there's a lot of promise with the with Sonic not being able to control himself in Werehog form that is now gone, and it would have made the story way more interesting.
Yeah, Unleashed Werehog it's pretty much just Sonic with stretchy arms and a gruffy voice like this.
And he's slower.
Yeah.
Also, what's really funny to me is that when I'm reading the comics, specifically the Werehog's dialogue, I hear the Jason Griffith voice in my head. But when I'm reading Sonic's regular dialogue, I hear Roger Craig Smith in my head, and it's really weird.
You know, that happens to me when I read like characters off of comics, like when they have different voices. Once they like characters have different voices over the years, it just they just kind of conflict in my head.
Well, like this, it's probably because I think Roger Craig Smith. Not only do I think he's the best voice actor since Ryan Drummond, but he's also the current voice actor.
Yeah.
And the Jason Griffith is the only voice I know of is the Werehog, so that's the only one my mind defaults to.
Yeah, pretty much. But I never really had a problem with the Sun and Moon medals because, yeah, they are a legitimate problem. But there was never really a point in the game where it was like, oh, you need to go back and collect more medals. Because
I didn't have a problem with it up until Adabat, where the game decided I needed to find 20 more Sun and Moon medals.
Yeah, that's where it really becomes a problem. By instinct, I just go and collect everything I can find. So that didn't really pop up for me, but I definitely can see why that would be an issue for people.
Yeah, that was just mainly what killed it for me, was the medal hunting right before Adabat, and then final nail in the coffin was Eggman Land. Fuck that place. Next, Sonic and the Black Knight.
No.
It is everything. They took out everything that made Sonic and the Secret Rings bad and made the stuff that made Secret Rings good. Or no, they took out all the bad stuff from Secret Rings. Made the few good things better, and then
they made the bad game good.
It's Secret Rings done right, essentially.
And I'm getting really, really tired of people saying Black Knight is a bad game. It really isn't as bad as people say.
Like, I can kind of get it. If you're just not a fan of the on-rails style in general, then fine.
Yeah.
But if your only reason is that Sonic has a sword, then
If that's your only reason, then please just screw off and just leave the franchise.
You won't be missed.
I don't want to sound malicious or anything, but I'm just sick of people like that in this fan base.
How does Sonic even use the sword?
With his hands.
No, what I mean is when you're controlling the game, how do you use the sword in the game?
Swing the Wii remote.
Okay, so it's motion controls.
Yeah, but
Yes, although moving around is done with the analog stick, so it's way easier to fucking back up this time.
the game makes you feel like, just makes you feel awesome for using the sword and all that, because you mow down like hundreds of enemies.
So it's Kingdom Hearts.
Kind
Omniscient.
to a degree. I can see where you're coming. I can see. Huh?
Is that you can. In Kingdom Hearts, when it throws loads of enemies at you, you can mow them down.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but it's also still kind of its own thing. Like, I don't know. So, the enemies are kind of similar to the Heartless in some way.
In that they are black creatures from another dimension.
Yeah.
Or not even really another dimension. They are black magical creatures. That's it.
Yeah.
Isn't it based in the past?
It's based in medieval times, so yeah.
So
And
it's ancestry.
Yeah.
Not only in medieval times, but also in a fictional story.
Also, I just want to point out, the time Unleashed and Black Knight came out was, well, I guess you could say Shadow as well. Those games were when Sega could make really, really good like CG cutscenes.
Yeah. Sonic Unleashed, or not Sonic Unleashed, well, Sonic Unleashed looked pretty good too. But Sonic the Black Knight looked really good for a Wii game in cutscenes, and
Yeah.
even in just the game itself.
Yeah, the game looked really good for a Wii game.
And it's also one of the few things I will compliment other M on, is looking really nice for a Wii game.
Mm. That's a completely different topic.
I don't care, it kind of makes sense, it's visuals.
Well, yeah, but that's
Black
not.
Knight is good, and it's honestly when I'd say Jason Griffith actually got good as Sonic.
Yeah, Black Knight was definitely his best performance. So
He still wasn't incredibly great though.
Eh.
And there's the mobile phone Sonic Unleashed game, which I never played.
It's basically a 2D Sonic Unleashed.
From what I've played, well, not played, I haven't played it, but from what I've seen, yeah.
And there's
It's terrible.
Yeah, it looks alright.
Yeah, but then again, so does Sonic 06 to someone who can't hear.
Well, it basically just looks like Sonic Rush. So
I think I played it a couple of years ago, but I don't really remember anything about it. Anyway, there's Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, which is a spin-off. Do we really want to talk about it? Like, it's good.
We could skip it and talk about it when we get to All Stars Racing Transformed, which I can talk more about.
We could actually just knock out both of them right now. We could actually probably just knock out both of them right now by saying All Stars Racing was pretty good, but existed only as mainly as a template for Transformed, which is an amazing game.
pretty much, yeah, that's all that needs to be said. I don't think I've ever really played. I may have played the original somewhat, but not a lot. But
It's pretty good, but it's hard to go back to it after playing Transformed.
yeah, that's the thing. And yeah, Transform, the music's great. For the most part, the game controls really good. And
Yeah, it controls better on the PS3.
and
Controls really. I haven't played the PS3 version, but it controls really well on the Xbox 360.
I own a Wii U version. It controls fine. But Yeah, I feel there's a lot to do in single player as well. Like you have the whole world tour thing and all that.
And although trying to get all the stars is some kind of master test, because
Yeah.
when that game gets hard, it gets really hard.
Yeah, I got all the stars and I looked at my total playtime and it was like at 50 to 60 hours. So
You will spend a lot of time trying to get everything in transformed.
yeah, all I really need to do is just like do time trials, which I don't really care about. So, you know. But yeah, is it?
Sonic? There's Sonic 4 Episode 1. It's really bad.
For me, it's just it doesn't have its own identity.
And the level design is bland. I don't mind it reusing level themes, that I don't care about, but the level designs themselves are bland. The controls are really stiff. Sonic's startup speed is abysmal, so that if you stop for any length of time, it takes forever to get going again.
Yeah, that's why you every time you just spam jump dash.
The physics are horrendous.
Yeah.
Can you
Gimmicks.
just use down dash to do it in place so you can build up the momentum?
Yeah, you could, but
Wait, are you talking about the spin dash?
Maybe. No. The stationary roll yourself into a ball and build up speed.
Yeah, that's the spin
that's the
dash.
spin dash.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you kinda can, but the thing is, the physics are pretty much screwed up in this game. So, any
Spider Sonic.
yeah, and you just can't gain momentum with rolling like you could in the classics.
Rolling does
Are the
fucking
physics
nothing.
screwed up as Sonic 06 on the rings?
Yeah, they're about that bad, actually.
Okay, so you can literally stand upside down.
Yes.
Pretty close. You can stand. There are multiple loops just within the first level where if you position yourself in this, not even really a specific spot, but if you get the right lack of speed going and then stop at just the right spot, you'll just be standing right on the walls.
Yeah.
Sonic can climb. Sonic can go up walls with just a light jog.
That's hilarious to watch.
I'm gonna need to Google a compilation of some of these at some point. I've never actually. I probably.
I know I put one of them in my top 10 least favorite Sonic games video.
Yes, Sonic 4 Episode 1 it's not a good game, but I've played worse.
From what the second.
I will say that I do like the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack is nowhere near as good as 3, but it's decent enough.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Joey?
Before we do this one,
Wait, what?
can I jump out of a window before we do the next one?
No.
No.
Wait, what is the next one?
Sonic Freeriders.
Yay!
I jump out of a window.
It's really bad. Although I have to give it some credit for being the only game that I ever got to work for my Kinect.
Insert window crashing sound effect here.
Done.
Sorry, I don't have anything glass that I can actually break.
And then everyone will just go into your room. Like, what just happened?
Oh, I just jumped out of the window because someone mentioned Sonic Freeriders, and then my brother actually jumps out of the window.
There are still good things about Freeriders. Like, I think the visual style is really good. The voice acting is still pretty good.
Uh-huh.
It's actually the first game to debut the new voice actors.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Apparently the Sonic Colors was the first game they recorded though.
I still find that a bit hard to believe because maybe Roger Craig Smith and Kate Higgins, I think, is Tails.
Yeah.
But I think for the rest of the voice actors, Sonic Generations was probably the first game they recorded, simply because of the slight differences. Because I think, like, Shadow in Freeriders doesn't really sound anywhere near as Snake-like as he does in Generations.
Maybe they got
Get this, Sonic.
maybe they got like the guys they needed for colors made them record the lines for that game, and then they got in everyone else for Generations and Free Riders.
Yeah, I think they probably recorded Generations first for most of the cast,
Probably.
and then did Free Riders, because it sounds like in Free Riders they sound a bit more used to their roles than they do in Generations.
I wouldn't be surprised because the whole Generations being a anniversary title.
Can I please just say that as far as I'm concerned, Free Riders is not canon.
It is. There might as well not be a canon at this point when it comes to the games. The story does not matter.
Yeah. Well, I still think
Can I say Free Riders never actually happened?
Well, I still think the Sonic Riders, the story, the general story, I think is important to the main series.
It really isn't, though.
Yeah, but
Wait,
yeah.
there's no story in Free Riders from what I remember.
Well,
Like, the story was good in Lost World, but it still didn't really need to be there.
there really isn't a trying to make a consistent, like, coherent timeline for the series would probably just kill you.
Yeah. I feel bad for the Zelda fans that did that before Hyrule Historia came out.
I watched some of those videos. They had some interesting ideas, but
They're all wrong!
how the hell are you supposed to find the time to think of all of that?
I don't know. One thing that I found really irritating and something that I actually kind of hated after the Hyrule Historia came out was videos pointing out why it's wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
It's going to flat out deny the fact that canon is wrong.
Game
As far
theory.
as they tried to point out like timeline issues within each game, like why this one can't come before this one, or this one can't come after this one. But honestly, for me, it's like Nintendo created the series. I think they have more authority to say how the story goes than some guy on the internet.
Even if it makes no sense.
I'm just gonna say two words. Game theory
Still,
It's the theory.
is just
even with that video, I think considering Nintendo created the series, they probably have more authority to say how the timeline happened than a guy on the internet.
Yeah.
A very credible guy on the internet, but a guy on the internet nonetheless.
It's credible on the internet,
Yeah.
despite
Well,
no one thinks what it says.
Well, if Nintendo made a timeline, they obviously know what they're talking about because they made the series itself. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but as far as we know, we can just say that they picked all of the games and just said, you know what, let's just put them wherever.
they
And then they actually started thinking about it halfway through and made their thing.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they like kind of brainstormed it and probably got a bunch of people to like think
Yeah,
of where everything takes place.
Yeah, I think probably most of the time that was spent making Hyrule Historia was probably spent on the timeline.
Probably.
The rest of the stuff was mostly in the manuals.
Moving on from Zelda.
Back to Sonic. There's Sonic Colors.
Yo!
It's so good.
Oh man, that's definitely one of the best Sonic games ever.
Yeah, when it came out, it was definitely one of the best Sonic games in a long time.
I
Definitely.
hit Sonic Colors and I just think Rainbow Dash. Whereas Harry thinks Drill.
I think what?
Drill.
Drill.
Yes.
Drill!
I love the announcer guy. Every time I use a wisp or something like that, I always just say like drill, laser with him. It's just so fun to do.
Yeah, something that actually kind of bothered me, definitely way more than it should, was when you're in the air and you're supposed to tap the A button to do the tricks. To me, it feels like outstanding should come last because I feel like outstanding is a bit better than amazing.
Mm.
And the fact that it goes outstanding and then amazing bothers me.
Yeah.
But it's not even that big an issue. It's just something that irritates me. But Sonic Colors was the first game in the series that I actually really followed from the time when it was announced, the time that it came out.
Yeah.
I remember the initial announcement. I remember the trailers. I remember when music was first unveiled. I remember when I was really excited to hear about the map and how similar it was to Mario World.
I remember when footage was first shown for Tropical Resort, and I couldn't stop watching it. I was just like, I want this game and I want it now.
I probably only saw the Tropical Resort footage a couple of times, but I watched the Sweet Mountain footage all the damn time.
I only saw that a couple of times, but Sweet Mountain is actually one of my favorite stages in that game.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
But yeah, Colors is just it's almost like the perfect 3D Sonic game because you have almost perfect level design. The music is amazing. The story doesn't take itself seriously, which is a good thing because I think we've...
No copyright law in the universe is gonna stop me.
Yes, it's a nice break from all the games that tried taking themselves seriously, and
Yeah.
the graphics were like they
weren't highly detailed, but they were very visually appealing.
Yeah, they were almost as the graphics almost looked as good as a 360 game for me.
Yeah, it looks really good. I also like the little detail of the music kind of drowning out when you boost for a long time.
Yeah, that was in Unleashed too, but yeah.
I had never really noticed it in Unleashed. I didn't really notice it until Colors.
Yeah. But yeah, Colors just an amazing game.
Trying to get the red rings in Aquarium Park was a pain in the ass, but
Yeah.
I'm back.
But well,
just in time. We're just about to talk about Sonic Generations.
Yay!
That's right after, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Well, Sonic Generations is not as good as Colors, but it's still pretty damn good.
Yeah, I feel like Colors got the boost mechanic perfect. I think Unleashed and Generations have it kind of oversaturated, I guess.
Oh yeah, forgot about the music. The Colors' soundtrack is definitely it's in my top 3 favorite Sonic soundtracks. For me, my favorites are most likely Sonic. Well, for the 3D games anyway, Sonic Adventure, Colors, and Unleashed.
I really do have to think about my favorite Sonic soundtracks. Not even just 3D, just in general. It actually is difficult.
Yeah, it's the soundtracks are really good most of the time.
Even in the bad ones, the soundtrack's generally pretty good. The only exception is really Sonic Chronicles.
Pretty much. Diamond Dust Zone is just horrendous in that game.
Yeah. Anyway, Sonic Generations. A really good anniversary title, but I don't really think it is as good a game as Colors.
Pretty
mainly
much.
because like Unleashed, it kind of oversaturates the boost by giving you boost energy with rings.
Yeah.
I feel like Colors got it perfect by giving you boost energy with very specific objects.
I feel that Colors, even though it's basically the same gameplay style, it still feels like a different style from Unleashed and Generations, just because of how they kind of make it so you have to conserve your boost.
Yeah, I think Colors is the closest example in the 3D games of actually earning speed, because Sonic Generations and Unleashed do actually just give it to you with rings.
Well, I think Lost World does it a bit more, because you basically have to use the environment to your advantage in that game.
Yeah, because they also don't give you the boost. So
Yeah,
so I guess it's the better example of earning speed with the boost mechanic.
pretty much. Generations, I think, is a perfected formula for the unleashed version of the boost gameplay.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's good. I like the reviving of old levels. The story is bare bones but enjoyable still.
yeah.
The soundtrack is extensive and great. I love all the remixes.
It was great to hear old tracks remixed, like Sky Sanctuary and stuff like that.
Toxic Caves,
Yo. It was also great
which
to
is still
hear.
kind of weird.
It was also great to hear things like modern chemical plant and classic rooftop run.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people
Generation.
seem to complain about the whole you have to do 3 missions and to go to the boss.
I didn't mind it because the missions are short enough that it's not really intrusive.
That and they're actually fun to play. That I actually went back and played them all, and they're pretty well designed. Like they're not as good as the main levels, but they're a fun little distraction.
Yeah. The only ones that were really difficult to do, I think, was there was one rooftop run that I can't quite remember the name of, but it was a pain in the ass.
Is it the Vector one?
No, it was another one. I can't remember.
I find it funny how everyone seems to hate the Vector music note one when I actually found that one really fun.
It took a while to get it done, but I didn't really hate it. It was just kind of difficult.
Mm. You kind of just have to anticipate where the note's gonna go. Or memorize as well. But,
Yeah. Generations is good, except the 3DS version, which sucks.
yeah. The 3DS version was just meh. There's nothing special about it.
It does have a better final boss, though.
Yeah, that's true. It's like the console version has a good like overall game, but the 3DS version has a better like ending. Well, not ending, but final boss and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the Time Eater in the console versions, it's not as bad as people say, but it really could have been better.
Yep. And then there's another Mario and Sonic game. Sonic 4 Episode 2 takes the problems that Sonic 4 Episode 1 had and fixes them.
Pretty much. If they make an episode 3, they could make it not quite.
There's not going to be an Episode 3. They just confirmed yesterday that it was cancelled.
Dang, so that sucks. I honestly would have liked an episode 3 because they could have improved on episode 2 and made it not quite to the level of Sonic 3 but pretty close.
Yeah, I would have liked to see it, but it's not happening unless Sega changes their minds, but I doubt they will.
Yeah.
Usually when it comes to Sonic, if something is cancelled, it stays cancelled.
Yeah. Just look at Sonic Extreme.
And Sonic Extreme.
Yeah. But
Both of them.
Sonic for Episode 2 was a huge improvement over Episode 1. Like, they tried to be more original with the zones,
Instead of just completely reusing old themes, they took 2 themes and smashed them together, and I like that.
it makes Episode 2 have more of its own identity, whereas Episode 1 is just kind of there.
Yeah. Plus, Episode Metal is a condensed Episode 1, and it's a bit better because I think it runs on the same physics engine as Episode 2.
Yeah, I've tested the whole rolling physics. It's a lot better than in Episode 1. So maybe if they made it so Episode Metal or if you could link the two games and make it so you could have Sonic for Episode 1 with Episode 2 physics, it might improve the game a little bit.
Yeah. There'd still be the problem of the level design being bland, but
Yeah,
at least the physics would be good.
yeah.
I could probably find some enjoyment to be had in Sonic 4 Episode 1 in that case.
But is there much else we need to say in Episode 2?
It's good. We talked about Transformed.
Yeah.
In between Transformed and Lost World, there were 2 arcade games.
Really?
Yeah, first there was Sonic Athletics, which is a treadmill-powered game with a screen depicting a Sonic character as the avatar. And Sonic Ghost Shooting, which is an arcade game based off the ghosts in Sonic Adventure 2.
Huh.
Wonder if it's anything like Luigi's Mansion.
I kind of doubt that, but it would be interesting.
No, Luigi.
It's a stone, Luigi. You didn't make it.
Wow.
Then there's Sonic Lost World. Sonic Lost World, which I thought that it was going to be good from when it was unveiled, and I find it really funny how a lot of people, when it came out, said that it was horrible and one of the worst Sonic games in years.
Yeah.
But if you look at it now, people are talking about how good it is, and I honestly think something similar is probably going to be happening with Sonic Boom. In about a year, people will be like, it wasn't really that bad.
Yeah. It's just that I see that all the time, and then I just play the game myself, and you know, that was actually really, really good.
Yeah, very rarely do I agree with the general consensus on Sonic. Simply because if you notice, a lot of the people that do say how bad these games are, odds are they're not a Sonic fan, for one.
Yeah, the thing is, like, the good part of the fan base is usually the more quiet part of the fan base, because like people that go like, oh, Green Eyes and stuff are definitely the most vocal.
Well, like, the decent fans are definitely there, but for every decent Sonic fan there's about 700 awful ones.
Essentially, yeah. But yeah, Lost World.
It's good, especially the soundtrack. I really like Wonderworld.
Yeah, I just everyone should know this by now, but avoid the 3DS version, get the Wii U version.
Yeah.
We're on Sonic Boom, right?
No, this is
No.
Lost World.
Lost World.
I could just say watch my review of the game, but that would be sad.
Go watch his review of the game. There, if I do it, you don't have to.
Hey. Well, it's
And then there's... After Lost World, there's Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic Games. Longest title.
Yeah, that title is just ridiculous. I thought
Super Smash Brothers for 3DS is counted, for 3DS and Wii U is counted again.
let's just skip.
And then we've got Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric and Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal.
And games that people need to calm the hell about. Just calm down, please.
Yeah.
Why was
Rise of Lyric, I definitely am not defending it as a really great game. Like, it's not even really what I would call good. It is painfully mediocre, but it really is not that bad.
Yeah, that's what I've seen it as, really.
Although I think that when it comes to Sonic Boom, the better way to stay involved with it is the show and the comics, because
Yeah.
the show is silly fun, and so is the comics.
Well, what about? Well, we kind of already talked about Shattered Crystal.
Shattered Crystal is good. I'd say it's good.
Yeah.
If you like Metroid style games, I'd suggest picking it up.
True. Well, that's
and that's it.
so.
Later this year, we've got Sonic Runners.
Oh yeah, Sonic Runners. That seems interesting because from what the guy's leaking, if what he's saying is true, then the game will have a Unleashed style gameplay, like day levels.
Oh.
There'll be
On
multiple.
iOS and Android.
Yeah, there'll be multiple characters, cutscenes, and stuff like that. It's probably just Sega's way of like holding us off until probably the anniversary title.
I just assume so.
Yeah. Maybe they'll have like some kind of spin-off for this year, but I won't count on it. Because I'd rather they spent all their resources and time on an anniversary game.
Also, according to this is off topic with Sonic, but according to Bill Trinen, there is no major Mario game releasing this year.
Wait, technically you have Mario Maker, but that's something on it.
But that's not a major Mario game.
Oh yeah, it's very much it's not really a new Mario game, to be fair, because you're making the game really.
Yeah, it's essentially a spin-off for all intents and purposes.
Pretty much.
But that's weird. It's been how many years we've had a major Mario title every year?
I'm kind of glad, to be honest, because I'm kind of tired of having a Mario game every single year.
Yeah, but it's still weird.
Yeah, it's like yeah, they're great games, but please slow down.
I assume it's probably due to Miyamoto working on other things,
Well,
like Project Giant Robot.
well, yeah, that and Star Fox and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which
Which we apparently are. I can't remember if we've gone over this before, but we are getting it before the new Zelda.
yeah, and also I think it's a good thing they're like taking a break from having a new major Mario title for every year, because it gives the team time to make a even better game. Because if you have like you're put in a limit to release a game every year, it kind of stops you from making the game as good as it could be.
Yeah, although I think the release of a major Mario title every year was not really out of keeping Mario releases consistent, but rather they just were able to finish Mario games on that basis. So they figured, all right, we'll try to put one out every year.
Pretty much.
We get them done that quick anyway, so.
Yeah, I think next time I think they should have time to make something like really groundbreaking, like something original, I guess.
Yeah, that's the Sonic series. Read the comics as well, because those are good.
Anything you want to say about the cartoons?
Most of them. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was really goofy, and I liked it. Sad I Am was way too serious, and I did not enjoy it. Sonic Underground was somewhere in the middle, and I liked it. Sonic X was only good through the Sonic Adventure adaptations, and Sonic Boom they're pretty enjoyable.
My thing on it is the first Sonic cartoon, which was the name of, I've already forgotten.
Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
That one. I liked it, but I wished it had some continuity to its episode structure.
It wasn't trying to have it, it was just supposed to be very silly.
Sat AM I actually liked because out of the edge.
Most people did like it because of how serious it is, but I think it was too serious for its own good.
Yeah, well, I only saw like 3 episodes of Saturday AM, so I don't really have much to say on that. But
I thought it was too short.
It's all right, but it's not really my cup of tea when it comes to Sonic.
I feel that Sonic Underground was a really good balance between the two. despite Sonic Underground bringing its own brand of silly with the
Yeah.
magic musical instruments.
For me,
I never saw Sonic Underground because I didn't like the music.
well, for me, with the
It's fun. It's a fun show.
yeah, well, for me, for the Sonic shows, I really enjoyed Adventures. Sat AM it's from what I've seen, it's okay, but it's not really my style. Underground it has some interesting ideas, and it's kind of a mixed bag for me. Like, some episodes I enjoy, others I don't. Sonic X I'm pretty much the same. I only really legitimately enjoyed the game adaptations, and yeah, the other episodes, some of them were a guilty pleasure, but I wouldn't really classify really any of them as good.
Yeah. I also don't get why people got so latched onto Dark Sonic. He was there for 10 seconds.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, yeah, it's cool.
And if you hadn't been following Sonic X, you probably would have thought that it was photoshopped.
Yeah, but
Although, I will wonder why they brought that up, and then it's just never been used in anything ever again.
yeah, that is really weird. I think Sonic Team actually wrote Sonic X, didn't they?
I think so, or at least somebody from Sonic Team did, like parts of it.
Yeah. That is interesting, actually, though. But Sonic OVA. Do you have anything to say about that?
I like it.
Never seen it.
It's a nice. It's
actually the first time that Metal Sonic ever had a speaking voice.
it's a decent time. It's.
Although the main theme, which is sometimes considered Metal Sonic's theme, is also really good.
Yeah.
Kind of silly.
Yeah. I hope the upcoming Sonic movie by Sony Pictures, I believe. I hope it's actually good and not a Sonic fan film, kind of.
Apparently, it's going to be live-action CGI hybrid, and it's going to be semi-serious in tone.
Well, if they don't overdo it, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because it's the same. Isn't it by the same guys that did the Unleashed opening and whatnot?
I can't remember. I do know that apparently Sony is also making a Mario movie.
Yeah, I heard about that. I have no idea how you're gonna make put Mario on the big screen for like 2 hours.
So long as it's not the 1993 movie, then I think we should be fine.
I think that if they do something similar to like the Mario and Luigi games, it could be something special.
Yeah.
But we'll have.
But we'd probably have to have Mario and Luigi actually talk.
I don't know how that's gonna work. Like, the Mario's voice kind of gets grating on the ears after a while.
Which is why I don't know if they'll get Charles Martinet in. If they do, they'll probably have them tone it down at least a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
I just hope the Sonic and the Mario movie actually turns out decently, because
Aren't they also making a Sly Cooper movie?
we're getting movies of everything nowadays, I swear.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank, Uncharted.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty.
Spyro movie, I hope we get at some stage, because there was going to be one, but it got
A Spyro movie might be a good move to revive the franchise, actually.
Make Spyro movie, make a game off it, and then make a series out of the game. Done.
Oh, holy shit, the Ratchet and Clank movie comes out this year.
Oh, dang.
Wow.
Well, we have
What about Crash Bandicoot movie? Are we ever going to get one of them?
Doubt it.
that would be interesting, but
It's to be a comedy adventure movie.
I would like to see that, but I'm kind of scared what would happen, considering the.
No, they would make a Skylanders out of it. No, I don't want a Crash Bandicoot movie anymore.
Well, I'm just scared of how they'll handle it, considering the track record for the recent games.
badly. That's how I'd handle it.
I'm actually checking the voice cast, the voice cast for the Ratchet and Clank games to see how they did at, like, in general, like keeping it accurate. At the very least, I know Ratchet is still accurate because they got James Arnold Taylor to do his voice for the movie.
I know the guy from the first game and the second game are different, but then I think the third one is the same as the second one. And so was Gladiator. Although with Gladiator, it's all done through a voice synthesizer.
Let's see, Ratchet in.
Now, what about a God of War movie?
We don't need one. We don't need a God of War movie.
Yeah, aside from the first game, Ratchet has been voiced by James Arnold Taylor in everything. In the first game, he was voiced by Mikey Kelly.
Isn't he also the guy who did the guy from Final Fantasy X?
James Arnold Taylor? Yeah, I think so.
James
Arnold Taylor has done a lot of voices. He was even the voice of Fred Flintstone for a while.
Huh.
Let's see. David Kay is doing the voice for Clank in the movie, and he's been the voice of Clank for the games even since the first one.
Has never changed.
Do you have anything else we want to talk about? Because we've been recording for about 2 hours and 42 minutes.
Well, now we're
done. Finish up. I want to finish up this thing with the Ratchet and Clank voice actors, and then we'll end.
And then shameless plugging that we should be sponsored for.
Oh yeah, we have to keep that alive because we've done it for every episode now. So
the only thing that has changed is I think the second episode we added Daring Do Books, and the third episode we added Alcorn Shipping.
Yeah. Continue.
Jim Ward provides the voice for Captain Quark, as he has done in every single game. If I can find, is Chairman Drek even a character in the games?
Yes.
Yes, he is. Okay, there he is. He's right there. And he's voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, as he will be in the movie.
In that Chairman Drake in the movie.
Huh?
So in the movie, they're bringing Chairman Drake back.
Well, yeah, it's an origin story, so.
Okay.
Let's see. I actually have to go, I think, out of.
Channel 42 News person. I've always wanted to know.
Yeah.
I can check after this. First, I gotta figure out when. Actually, I don't even need to figure it out. I can just check. Dr. Nefarious is going to be in the movie, by the way.
Okay.
He's being voiced in the movie by Armin Shimmerman, who has provided his voice and everything. So that's good. And I like Dr. Nefarious, so I'm happy to see that he's going to be in the movie.
Yeah, I like the character. I'm just like, it's origins, but the only way I can see that is Quark's origins.
Lawrence is in the movie, and he's going to be voiced by Mike.
Second.
Lawrence is going to be in the movie, and he's voiced by Michael Bell, as he is in the games. And Mr. Zircon is going to be in the movie.
What?
Who?
Mr. Zircon.
Which game's he from?
He's just been a weapon in a lot of the games.
Oh, you mean the flying death drone things?
Yeah, Mr. Zircon.
Hi!
I suppose it's a weapon they could have used in it, so it does need a voice, but why he's listed there, I don't know.
Is there a voice for the weapon vendors, or are they not even including them?
They're probably there, but I don't think I doubt the entire cast has been revealed since the movie's not out yet. But let's see. And they even got the same voice actor to do Mr. Zircon's voice, Mark Grew.
Okay, good for them.
And then that's all that's listed so far.
Alright.
Can't wait to hear more.
Yeah, it seems like it could be interesting.
So, we on to shameless plugging now?
Go ahead.
Right, this has been Key Gaming, also known as Diamond Key, or Joey in the podcasts. That's just what I've said I am. Thanks for watching, and buy Tilk's Jaffa Cakes, and they're in Do Books, and if you can't get them at your local stores, which you can't, because they're all on Amazon, use Alcorn shipping, despite you can't, because it's all on Amazon. And also I bought one of the shirts, the Tilk's Jaffa Cake shirts, except I'm still waiting for that, because that hasn't shown up. So I will wear that at one stage, take a picture, and then upload that, maybe. And then you all see my face for the first time ever. Maybe in Harry's videos, I think one of those.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks for watching the podcast. Next time we're probably gonna talk about Nintendo and some of that. What they could do for this year and stuff like that.
Guys, I feel like I'm forgetting I have to plug something.
I think we're fine.
Daring Do Books, Jaffa Cakes, Alcorn shipping. I swear there's one more thing. That's the thing that I'm forgetting that we'll go through the other videos. Well, and by that I mean just click the last second of the other videos.
So are you gonna do this now?
No.
Okay, should we just end this?
Yeah. If we find it out, I'll record a little thing to stick at the end.
Okay. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Okay.
Hello everyone and
Welcome to the co-optional. Wait, what? No, what?
Let's start again.
I love how we both did the intro at the same time.
Yeah, except I've just introduced the entirely wrong podcast. It's
Because
because
this is the co-option podcast, which one of us is Total Biscuit?
I'm leaving this in. This is hilarious.
I'm
Put it at
totally.
the end of the video.
We have
Put it at
Dodger,
the,
Jesse Cox. Say hi,
put
Dodger.
it at the end of the. Just put it at the end of the video, and
Alright.
then like this happened also.
Yeah.
Oh. So are we?
Let's try that again.
Okay.
Right. So with the Ramble Express podcast, right?